What up, everybody? How we're doing tonight? All right. Hello, hello. EW's like, let's do it. Wow, wow. What's up, everybody? Hello, Vang. Hello. What we got here? We got Jessica here. Oh, wow. Here we go. We got DW's Vegs, Jessica Bell. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody and everyone, Nika! Ladies and gentlemen, Nika's been here all. We haven't seen her in a while. I made. Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Nika's back. Still a friend. What's up? Hmm. Wasn't aware we were live. Yeah, it was a last minute thing. I think we were having a good time last night and said, screw it. You might want to change that out. We are on chapter 6. We'll be starting on chapter 6 tonight. We will be on chapter 6. 66. Oh, thank you so much, Mom, for the little heart. Chapter 6. Oh, you. You? I give me you. I give me you. I got it. Who are those? Ah. No, I didn't read. I did not. I did not read today. I did not. I did not. I just made the videos. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Ladies. I gotta. I'm
Still don't
sure.
have
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I have asked for help and input. You just want me to take pictures of you? Yeah, okay, what song? And nobody said shit. I get a whole bunch of more ideas, but nobody make a decision.
I'll be sure.
Okay, great. What song? What pictures? Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the outfit. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the outfit. Oh, come back, come back, come back. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the outfit inspired by... There we go. Turn around, please. Great. But the question is, does it have pockets?
No.
It doesn't have pockets. Damn it, there's no pockets!
No. Okay.
No pockets.
Yeah, it was the texture. When I saw that, I was like, all right, I don't have like copper, rust, like this much of my closet, and I have a lot of closet, but not a whole lot of. I have very few, but I haven't figured out what to do. They're just distinct pieces that don't really go with solutions. That's all right. I've got several books that I could use that for. Don't worry. Get Foxy and Sly about it. I do have the rest of ACOTAR book planned out as far as ideas go. Now I just figure out like actually go. Do my best to like hit the vibe, you know? Like tomorrow's gonna be good. Pretty iconic. And I'm also trying to hit certain events as we go through the book, so that'll be kind of cool. And I do have like Akamath mapped out as well, like a draft for ideas. Also, if you have any, I'm in the Discord. I'll start a thread in the right channel this time. I'm sorry. Also, if you were waiting on me to move it, I don't know how to do that. So I love you, but I don't know how to move all that. The conversation, the chat that I had in general that should have been I put it in general, but I don't know how to do that.
You just gotta click right. Get on the computer, it's easier. Right click, move, or long press, move.
And also, you know what? Surprisingly, there's not enough glittery things in the glasses.
Oh, glitter! I thought you.
said
I thought you. You too.
Clitterally.
You too. Okay. See,
Yeah,
we both clitorally thought you said something
Clitterally.
else. All right. Any. Wow.
Bunch of
Woo. Oh, that's funny. Oh wow. Jessica asks, "What's your favorite Sleep Token song?" Probably this one. I'm going. Probably be this one. Oh, it should be starting. You know what I mean?
Does anybody
Okay.
have any
You have to get closer to the mic, my love.
Ow.
Does anyone have any annotating?
I don't know. She just said annotated. I don't know what she means. And I'm highlighting it. Right stuff. Oh, there's nothing to say about the past. That sucks. The old lady died.
Me.
Does annotating require anything outside of highlighting?
Do the highlights in tomorrow class. Say, hey, is this what you wanted? If not, be more specific. You guys speak up. Ask what they want. All right. There we go. So this is currently probably my favorite Sleep Token song, Jessica, as you were asking. There you go. All right. So. All right. Yes, it normally not live on a Tuesday. You're not in the picture. You keep doing this all the time. Woo, Lord, I tell you what. I didn't have it all the way. I didn't have it. Okay, I got to turn the music up a little more. All right. It was Chokehold. It's Chokehold. Currently, my favorite Sleep Token song is a Chokehold. Excuse me. Grab a highlighter, write your thoughts. I'll send a pic in the cord if you wanted. There you go. DW said she'll send a pic in the cord.
Thank you.
There you go. Oh, we missed you too, Nika. I'm glad I'm glad things are going better for you, and you're able to be here. We got to get you on a day off. That's amazing.
I don't think I've ever annotated a book. I've doodled. I'm a doodler. You will find little pencil drawings on pages, maybe. Perhaps.
I'm gonna need you to use your big girl voice so you can get the decibels up there and hit the minimum threshold.
My bad.
Love you so much.
My bad, gang.
Ladies and gentlemen, Arun is at his finest. And toe cramp.
Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, what do we got? Okay, write brief summaries, reactions, questions directly in the next paragraph. Ooh, there's a good idea. What else do we got? Ooh, there you go. And she left.
Ooh.
Of course, she inside. Well, she should be reading on the TV, hopefully. All right, so is everybody caught up with me so far? I know, excuse me, I know this is just a reread, but we finished 5. Everybody know exactly what has happened? Do they need a quick recap? We got the 30-second recap, minute tops. I can do that. If y'all need that, if you weren't able to catch my video in conversations today, and my thoughts of the first 5 and what I missed. What you giggling at?
Yeah, I think Regs and I would have the same annotating style. Just be like, this B, what? Exclamation point, MFR. That's all you would see. Highlights
Right.
and underlines of people being.
Damn. Ladies and gentlemen, Lady Liz. Alrighty then. The truth shall set you free. Just calling it out. That's what she does. She calls it out. Okay, so real quick recap yesterday for those of you who weren't here. I almost whoa! We're pumping the brakes. Hang on, hang on. Sally down. Sally's favorite button. Sally down. She is. Do you see what she said? It's a family-friendly show here, folks. F them kids. But no, for real. F them kids. But okay. Oh, wow. All right. I didn't. She held her. I'm proud of you, Allie. That's why you got the button. Good job. See? You don't always have to let the inside thoughts thought. Okay? It's okay. What's up, boo-boo? You're scrolling the TikTok. All right. My Chemical Romance is live on the Tiki-Talkie.
They're living their live tour.
Well, there you go. That's pretty cool.
Living their live tour.
Live in the live tour. Oh, My Chemical Romance, y'all. That's pretty cool. Oh, Pixie, what's up? Yeah, right. Go check it out. All right. So
They're living their live tour.
they're living their live tour, and that's pretty lively.
Pretty cool.
It's pretty lively of them. Okay, you like it. She loves it. She lives some more of it. All right. Quick recap. I'm going to actually get this recap out. Here we go. Quick recap of the first 5 chapters of ACOTAR. Favor's in the woods. She sees a deer. She sees a wolf. She shoots them both. She skins them. Poor damn Andreas. Anyway, we don't know his name yet. She takes him back to the family. Ungrateful little bastards. They eat a bunch of food. They go into town the next day. We meet some cool-ass mercenary. She gives her some tips and tricks and a lot of shitload of money. She stops off for a quick rub and a tug and a little Xbox game of Rocket League with old Isaac Hayes. Has a good time. Goes home, is about to lay down, and some fucking goddamn lion, wolf, beast. It's more of a wolf beast with horns. Sketchy AF. All come in is like, I'm the truth teller, and you must listen to me because I tell the truth, and you broke the treaty, and you gotta come live with me, you little bitch tits. And she's like, oh, shit. All right, because you know this big scary guy wouldn't lie to me at all. And then she gets on a horse, and they ride. Pony, let's do it. Now, we ain't doing fairies fucking yet, all right? That's still a few chapters away. But anyway, they get to his house after he goes magic on your ass, right? And she... 2 days. I'm just saying. She said it was a 2-day journey. She was sleeping. Ladies and gentlemen, you know you gotta go to the bathroom at least once in 2 days. I'm just... She ate a whole shit ton of food the night before. I'm just saying. Digressing. Nobody thinks about these things. I do while I mow the yard in 105-degree weather. But anyway, I digress. She wakes up. Hello, where the fuck am I? I'm in a big house with a metal gate. That's where chapter 5 ended off. Any questions? All right. Why are you over there just laughing your ass? It's funny. The opposite. Yeah, there you go. She's got the opposite of watery bowels right now. She's got the anti-diarrhea meds. Maybe that's why she's got so much watery bowels. Because the anti-diarrhea meds for this 2-day journey blocked her up so bad when they finally wore off. It's just like extra fiber, y'all. Woo! Watery bowels for everybody. She's like Oprah. You get some bowels. You get some bowels. We all get some watery bowels.
Holy shit!
What is going on here, folks? What are we descending to? What are you letting me descend to? This is madness. What are you encouraging? What are you encouraging me, folks? Uh-oh. She's bringing it over here real quick. Okay. The food has food. Ooh, there you go. An extra mayo. What you got? Oh, what was it? Oh, what was her name again? Not that. What's her name? I am horrible with names. Not that Janet. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to remember her name real quick. The one that does the mini caricatures, miniatures. the miniatures. It's her name is like not that Jackie. Not that Jackie. Okay, I put the video down in the Discord, y'all. She is doing this thing. I tell you what. Yeah, Jackie, go blow up her notifications. She has a video posted. If you haven't seen her little miniatures one, you just need to go check that out because that is holy fucking shitballs amazing. If I had a lot more fuck you money, I would be sending it her way and saying, send me the entire fucking everything I've ever read miniatures. But anyway, I digress. She is doing this little promo thing right now where if you go there and you give her a scene, she's going to pick a winner a week. Okay. And she is going to go do, a scene and send it to whoever she picks to. So go check that out and support her, like, and share her content because her work deserves to be seen. Okay. Sorry. I needed to get that little shout out to the day. And then ladies and gentlemen, Madame Q is here. That is our buff mama. Y'all see her today. Watch out. Them guns are coming out. I'm telling you. What the hell? What is that? What the hell is that? Y'all. What is that? What is that?
It's an ad. Holy shit! They can't hear. It's an ad. This is an ad that came across my Facebook, and it was posted by Saks Fifth Avenue. I'll get it. I promise. At some point, you'll see it. Okay, Saks Fifth Avenue. And if you haven't caught it yet, yes, this diaper indeed has been made by Prada. Okay, but hold on, because we're not done yet. We're not done yet because this presentation comes with a second page because you will not believe how many dollars they want for the diaper. How many dollars do you think? Let's see if we can get some guesses.
Okay, let's get some guesses. Whoever gets close to win a button. Whoever gets closest will win a button.
I like it.
Okay?
Doll
Ooh, doll hairs. Oh, we got a 25K. Nika's like, oh, we going fucking stupid crazy. I like it. We got a 2K. We got a 7K. Ooh, DW's asking him, what is it made out of?
Probably polyester. Hold on, I don't know.
We got 120 doll hairs. Doll hairs. Hey, what do we got? Anybody else got a bet? Anyone? I'm not a very good auctioneer. Got a little cotton mouth right now. Sorry.
Okay, she is 100% cotton. Okay.
100% cotton. Okay.
She is sold at Saks Fifth Avenue.
Only at Saks Fifth Avenue?
I don't know. That's where it was delivered to me.
God damn!
I have it pulled up on the website. Are you ready to see? 320. No. 420. Also no. No. $795, my friends. And look, they come in 4 pastel colors. I mean, they kind of look like the ACOTAR book cover right now, but $800. $800. Yes, one color is sold out. Maybe I should sit down. Sorry.
I gotta get you. We gotta get you, Mike.
I was doing the reverse Kilroy, man. They didn't even see my eyes. It was probably a good thing. Anywho, $795 for the diaper made by Prada, and that they call a short. This is a short. If you did it was a carousel ad, so if you kind of scrolled through, it also showed these sneakers that look like they came out of my middle school closet. Like just that my mom maybe sent them as a reference point because they then had duct tape over the sides of them. Also, like $1,400. Insanity. Look, he's frozen in time. He's absolutely frozen. I broke him. He is ticklish.
God dang it.
I mean, I was, gonna, but I wasn't gonna be mean like that. Oh, look, he's so sweet.
Have y'all seen Maggie Weber, Rich People Shit Us Force Haven't Heard of series? No. I have not. That sounds funny. That's wild. That's wild.
I love watching that shit though. Mm. Wait, who won? Look, DW said 750. She was right on it. She knows them prices. Ooh, girl. But you live there, yeah.
That's wild.
DW, what button you want?
Ooh, first off, give it cherries. Cherries first.
Cherries.
Bottom, yep.
You can have your chair back.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Woo! All right. Okay. Ooh, you haven't seen all.
But you know what? She does have two pockets.
Oh, two pockets.
So
Oh, is it the diaper?
You can put your products there. There you go.
The diaper, I told them about it. I told them about the diaper for $800.
All right. Well, are we ready? I think we're ready. Are we ready? We ready. Nika, but okay, let's see, Nika, let's see. We have okay, here. We'll do. There's a few we have to wait because they only get pulled out on certain cues. But you can see this one. This is one. She probably hasn't seen it.
Exactly.
And then we got this one. I think no, I didn't listen. He's an old grumpy guy, but I don't think he's annoying.
I'm following my destiny. I'm just
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Listen, we put him on there, but we knew he wasn't gonna be put in the first hasn't seen any of these. What? Did I do that one? I did that one already? Oh well. You can see again. I don't remember if I did this one or not.
I'm following my destiny. I'm just too bad.
Ruin Dannon, Crown Prince of the Valbaran family.
Not yet. And honestly, I will say this. I think this is probably the most underrated button we have, honestly. I don't think people request it enough, but it's just me.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, look at the blonde-headed one that does that to you, doesn't he? You see him and start stroking him up. I tell you what. I tell you what. If I ever need to get her on, I just gotta press this button. I tell you what. I tell you what. Button cues? Ooh, hey, if that'll work, I tell you what, don't get it twisted. I will walk around with a speaker on my back and playing a buzzard. That means I can. Don't. I will home PA this. I talk about an easy button. Holy shit! I'll wire this house up.
Oh, you hadn't seen the Rocky one? That one's good.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah, that was for when we did Hail Mary. That was from when we did Project Hail Mary. Okay, I think we're ready. Ooh, look at that. I turned it right to the chapter. There's no. That was pretty legit. That's pretty legit.
Did you show her Riddick?
I did show a Riddick,
did?
yes. A don't get it twisted sticker. That's funny. I do say that. I do say that a lot, don't I? Don't get it twisted, motherfucker. That's funny. That is funny. You get twisted. Anyway, digressing, launcher. Anyway, so chapter 6 tonight. That's where we are starting out. All right, really quick. I just want to make sure before I say this. DW, are you on scribe duty tonight, my love? Are you on scribe duty?
And also, DW and Begs and May, thank you for your help today.
Oh, thanks,
Guys,
Belle.
hello.
No worries. You don't have the TV on the side? No? Oh, anyway.
I came out here, remember?
I understand.
Started.
I understand. I was just asking. Probably not. I think they're after dinner. Okay, I'm just waiting on confirmation to DW. If not, I'll pull my notebook out. Bum 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 bum. I want to hear your ideas for that sticker though, Q. Like what would you I like it. Just the words twisting. How would you design that sticker? All right. Let us get started. A court of thorns and roses. What do we call it? I don't know what we call this. It's not a first reading. First rereading? First retelling? I don't know. Anyway. I got you. Oh, you're good? Oh, no, DW, I was just asking if you're going to be on scribe duty again tonight. That's all. Because I know last night you was on. I didn't know if you wanted to do it again or take a break or if I needed to do it. That's all. I didn't want to volunteer you. Voluntold you. You know me. So you're on it. Oh, you're the best. You're the best. Around. Nothing's ever gonna get you down. You're the best. Around. Okay, sorry. Stop stimming me. All right, here we go. Chapter 6. Ash, what's up, girl? I'm glad you made it. Okay, here we go. Chapter 6. The estate sprawled across the rolling green land. I'd never seen anything like it. Even our former manor couldn't compare. It was veiled in roses and ivy, and patios and balconies and staircases sprouting from all alabaster sides. The grounds were encased by woods, but stretched so far that I could barely see the distant line of forest. So much color, so much sunlight and movement and texture. I could hardly drink it in fast enough. To paint would be useless, would never do it justice. My awe might have subdued my fear, and my awe might have subdued my fear had the place not been so wholly empty and silent. Oh, my poor sweet summer child. My poor sweet summer child. I believe so. I think they're not. I think they're just in. They're in. She should be glamorized. They're invisible to her. If I remember correctly, she sees nothing. She is glamored to not see them. They're there though, looking at this chick like, it's a whole new world. Like, what this bitch doing? Oh my God. She smells like she ain't took a dump in 2 days. Anyway, sorry, digressing. All right, I am getting off the beaten path here. Okay, even the garden through which we walked, following the gravel path to the main doors of the house, seemed hushed and sleeping. Above the array of amethyst irises, a pale snowdrop and butter yellow daffodils swaying in the balmy breeze. The faint stench of metal ticked my nostrils. Of course, it would be magic, because it was spring here. What wretched power did they possess to make their land so different from ours? To control the seasons and weather as if they owned them? Sweat trickled down my spine as layers of clothing turned suffocating. I rotated my wrist and shifted in the saddle. Whatever bonds had held me were gone. The fairies meandered ahead, leaping nimbly to the grand marble staircase that led the giant oak door in one mighty fluid motion. The door swung open for him on silent hinges. He prowled inside. He planned his entry arrival, no doubt, keeping me unconscious so I didn't know where I was, didn't know the way home, or where other deadly fairy territories might be lurking between me and the wall. I felt for my knife, but found only layers of frayed clothes. Those thoughts of claws pawing through the cloak of my knife made through my dry mouth. I shoved away the fury and terror and disgust as my horse came to stop of her own accord at the foot of this. There's a horse inside the house, y'all. That is some fuck you money. When you can bring a horse in a house, I'm just saying. Holy shnikes, y'all. That's amazing. What the heck? Oh, welcome back, Carolina. Welcome back. I appreciate you coming back. Yes, everybody. Nika's here. Nika made it. That's another big reason we came live tonight, y'all, is Nika has been so busy and working. We just wanted to get in here and get us some Nika. So everybody, let's celebrate these ladies for coming back in here. I tell you what. Right? There's a horse in the house. The keys and the string are in the drawer. Come see us. Thirsty Theory Thursdays. We'll be pulling the string out soon. All right, here we go. Okay, the horse is in the mother freaking house. What is happening? All right, where were we? Keep me unconscious, but a knife found my lair to close. The drawer's claws. Okay. The thought of those claws pawing through my cloak to find my knife made my mouth go dry. I shoved away the fury and terror and disgust as my horse stopped of her own accord at the foot of the stairs. The message was clear enough. The towering estate house seemed to be watching, waiting. Wait, his house isn't sentient, is it? It's not sentient. It's just he got magic in it. It's not like another kick-ass house that we have, right? It's not pure sentient. He just got the magic. Okay. I glance over my shoulder toward the still open gates. If I were to bolt, it would have to be now. South. All I had to do was go south. I would eventually make it to the wall, if I didn't encounter anything before then. Tugging on the reins, the mare remained stationary, even as I dug my heels into her side. In a low outer lip, sharp hiss. Fine. On foot. Oh, thank you very much for the gifts. I appreciate that. My knees buckled as I hit the ground, bits of light flashing in my vision. I gasped as the saddle and Winston's soreness hunger racked my senses. Now. I had to go now. I had to move, but the world was still spinning and flashing. Only a fool would run with no food, no strength. I wouldn't get half a mile like this. I wouldn't get half a mile before he caught me and tore me to ribbons, as he had promised. I took a long, shuddering breath. Food. Getting food. Then running. At the next opportune moment, it sounded like a solid plan. Does it, though? Does it? When I was steady enough to walk, I left the horse at the bottom of the stairs, taking the steps one at a time. My breath tightened my chest. I passed through the open doors and into the shadows of the house. Inside, it was even more opulent. Black and white checkered marbles shined on my floor, following the countless doors and sweeping staircase. A long hall stretched ahead of the giant glass doors at the other end of the house, and though I glimpsed a second garden, gander than the one out front. No sign of a dungeon. No shouts of pleas rising up from hidden chambers below. Oh, you wouldn't know because they're all invisible. No, just a low growl from a nearby room so deep that it rattled the vases overflowing the flat clusters of hydrangeas atop the scattered hall tables. As if in response, an open set of polished wooden doors swung open wider to my left, a command to follow. My fingers shook as I rubbed my eyes. I known a high fae lord had once built themselves palaces and temples around the world, buildings that my mortal ancestors had destroyed after the war, out of spite. But I never considered how they might live today, the elegance and wealth they might possess. Never contemplated that the fairies and the feral monsters might own estates grander than any mortal dwelling. That's not very nice thinking right there, Feyre. That's not nice. Why? Why can't they own nice things? Because they're fair. Like that's not very nice. Jeez Louise. Excuse me. All right. I tensed as I entered the room. A long table, longer than we'd ever possessed in our manor, filled with most of the space. It was laden with food and wine, so much food, and some of it wafting tendrils of steam that my mouth watered. Watery bells are coming in 5, 4. At least it was familiar and not from a strange fairy delicacy. Chicken, bread, peas, fish, asparagus, lamb, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! It could have been a feast at any mortal manor. Speaking of recipes, y'all, Alejandra put one hell of a mean-sounding stew recipe in the Discord chat. Y'all should go check that out. That sounds delicious. Anyway, I'm sorry. Another surprise. The beast padded to the oversized chair at the head of the table. I lingered by the threshold, gazing at the food. All that hot, glorious food that I couldn't eat. That was the first rule we were taught as children, usually in songs and in chants. If misfortune forced you to keep company with the fairy, never drink their wine. Oh, give me some of that fucking fey wine. Never ate their food, ever, unless you wanted to wind up enslaved to them in their mind and soul. Anybody got some fairy wine and some food? I'm just saying, enslave me now. That's all we got to do. Enslave me now. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, okay. Can't be worse than the world we're digressing. Okay. Unless you wanted to be enslaved to them mind and soul, unless you wanted to wind up dragged back to Prithian. Well, the second part of that has already happened, but I stand a chance at avoiding the first. The beast plopped into the chair, the wood groaning, and in a flash of white light turned into a golden-haired man. Dun, 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 dun. Ah, sorry, I don't have golden-haired locks. I stifled a cry and pushed myself up against a paneled wall against the door, feeling for the molding of the threshold, trying to gauge the distance between me and the escape. This beast was not a man, not a lesser fairy. He was one of the high fae, one of the ruling nobility, beautiful, lethal, and merciless. He was young, or at least what I could see of his face seemed young. His nose, cheeks, and brows were covered with an exquisite golden mask embedded with emeralds shaped like whorls of fleece. Some absurd high fae fashion? No doubt. Yeah, no doubt, Feyre. No doubt, Feyre. Yep, we got it. All right, let's go. All right, we got a little... we got to adjust for the glasses, but all right. For my Tamlin parts, let's do it. Okay. All right, we got a little mask going on, a little tam mask right here. All right, this will be my Tamlin, y'all, when we get to him. All right, his young, some absurd high fae fashion. Oh wait, no, that wasn't Tamlin. This is Lucian. If only his left eye looking the same as he had in his beast form, strong jaw and mouth for me to see it, the latter tightened like a thin line. You should eat something, he said, unlike the elegance of his mask. A dark green tunic he wore, rather plain, accented with only the leather baldric across his chest. It was far more frightening than style, even though there bore no weapons I could detect. Not just one of the high fae warrior, but a warrior too. I don't want to consider what might require him to wear a warrior's attire, and tried not to look hard at the leather of the baldric gleaming and the sunlight streaming through the bank of the windows left behind. I hadn't seen a cloudless sky like that in months. He filled a glass of wine in an exquisite cut crystal decanter and drank deeply, as if he needed it. I inched towards the door, my heart beating so fast I thought I'd vomit. The cold metal of the door's hinges bit into my fingers. If I moved fast, I could be out of the house and sprinting for the gates within seconds. Well, he was undoubtedly faster, but chunking some of those pretty pieces of hallway furniture in the path might slow him down. Probably not. Though his fey ears with his delicate pointed arches would pick up any whispers of movement from me. Where are you? I managed to say. His light golden hair was so similar to the color of his beast form's pelt. Those giant claws undoubtedly still lurked just below the surface of his skin. Sit, he said gruffly, waving a broad hand to encompass the table. Eat. I ran through the chants in my head again and again, not worth it, easing my ravenous hunger and definitely not worth the risk of being enslaved to him in mind and soul. He let out a low growl. Unless you'd rather faint. It's not safe for humans, I managed to say. Offense be damned. He huffed a laugh, more feral than anything. The food is fine for you to eat, human. Those strange green eyes pinned me on the spot, as if I could ever detect every muscle in my body that was priming to bolt. Leave if you want, he added with a flash. I'm not your jailer. The gates are open. You can live anywhere in Printhia, and no doubt be eaten or tormented by the wretched fairy. But while every inch of this place was civilized and cleaned and beautiful, I had to get out, had to get back. That promise to my mother, cold and vain as she was all I had. I had made no move toward the food. Fine, he said. The words laced with the growl and began serving himself. I didn't have to face the consequences or refusal of him another time. And someone strolled past me, headed right for the head of the table. Well, the stranger said, another high fae, red hair and fine... Okay, here we go. Sorry, this is our guy, Lucian. What up, Lucian? Ladouche, I like that guy. All right, sorry. Red-headed and finely dressed in his tunic and muted silver, he too wore a mask. He sketched a bow and to the seated male, then crossed his arms. Somehow, he hadn't spotted me where I was still pressed against the wall. Well, what? My captor cocked his head in a movement of animal, then human. Is Andreas dead, then? A nod from my captor. Savior, whatever he was. I'm sorry, he said quietly. Fucking poor Andreas, man. Andreas doesn't get enough credit, y'all. Andreas don't get enough credit. Poor Andreas. All right, here we go. The how? The stranger demanded, the knuckles white as he gripped his muscle arms. An ash arrow, said the other. His red-haired companion hissed. The tree summoned me to the mortal. I gave her safe haven. A girl, a mortal girl, actually killed Andreas. To Andreas! To Andreas! To Andreas! Good soup. The stranger whirled a fluid grace. His mask was bronze and fashioned after the fox's features, concealing all but the lower half of his face, along with most of what looked like a wicked slashing scar from his brow down to his jaw. It didn't hide the eye that was missing, or the carved golden orb that had replaced it and moved it through, though as he could use it. It fixed on me. Even across the room, it could be seen remaining a russet eye widen. He sniffed once, his lip curled a bit to reveal the straight white teeth, and then he turned to the other fairy. You're joking, he said quickly. That scrawny thing brought down Andreas with a single ash arrow? Bastard, an absolute bastard. A pity I didn't have an ash arrow now, so I could shoot him instead. She admitted to it. The golden-haired one said tightly, tracing the rim of his goblet with his finger. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Hang on. Yeah, woo, that line means a whole lot more now. Okay, a lethal long claw slid out, scraping against the metal. Ooh, I'm gonna show you my fangs. Sorry. I fought to keep my breathing steady, especially as he added, she didn't try to deny it. The fox-masked fairy sank into the edge of the table, the light catching the long fire-red hair. I could understand his masks. What the brutal scar and missing eye. But the other high face seemed fine. Perhaps he wore it out of solidarity. Yep, that's what it is. It's too, like, maybe that explanation in the absurd fashion. Well, the red-haired one seethed. Now we're stuck with that? Thanks to your useless mercy, and you've ruined. I stepped forward, only a step. I wasn't sure what I was going to say, but being outspoken about the way, I kept my mouth shut. But it was enough. Did you enjoy killing my friend, human? The red-haired one said. Did you hesitate? Or was the hatred in your heart riding you too hard to consider sparing him? It must have been so satisfying for a small mortal like you to take him down. The golden-haired one said nothing, but his jaw tightened. And then they studied me as I reached for a knife that wasn't there. Anyway, the fox-masked one continued, facing his companion again with a sneer. He would likely laugh if I ever drew a weapon on him. Perhaps there's a way to, Lucian, my captor said quietly, the name echoing with a hint of snarl. Behave. Excuse me. Lucian went rigid, and he'd hopped off the edge of the table, bowing deeply to me. My apologies, lady. Another joke at my expense. I'm Lucian, courier and emissary. He gestured to me with a flourish. Your eyes are like stars. Your eyes are like stars, and your hair like brushed gold. Dun, 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 dun. He cocked his head, waiting for me to give me his name, but telling him anything about me, about my family, where I came from. Her name is Feyre, said the one in charge, the beast. He must have learned my name at the cottage. Those striking green eyes met mine again, then flicked at the door. Alice will take you to your room. You could use a bath and fresh clothes. Probably because she shit herself after riding for 2 days, but I digress. I couldn't decide whether it was an insult or not. There was a firm hand on my elbow. I flinched. A rotund, brown-haired woman in a simple brass bird mask tugged at my arm and inclined her head toward the open door behind us. Her white apron was crisp with her homespun brown dress. A servant. The mask had to be some sort of trend then, if they cared so much about their clothes. About whatever their servants wore. Maybe they were shallow and vain enough for me to deceive. despite their master's warrior clothes. Still, they were high fae. I would have to be clever and quiet and bide my time until I could escape. So I let Alice lead me away. Room, not cell, a small relief then. I barely made it a few steps before Lucian growled, "That's the hand the cauldron thought to deal us? She brought Andreas down? We never would have sent him out there. None of this should have been out there. It was a fool's mission." His growl was bitter than threatening. Could he shapeshift as well? Maybe he would just take a stand. Maybe it's time we say enough. Dump the girl somewhere. Kill her. I don't care. There's nothing but a burden here. She'd sooner put her knife in your back than talk to you or any of us. I kept my breathing calm, my spine locking. In, no, the other bit out. Not until we know for certain that there is no other way we will make a move. As for that girl, she stays, unharmed. End of discussion. Her life is that of the hovel of hell enough. My cheeks heated, and while I loosened my breath and I avoided looking at Alice as if I felt my eyes slide to me. A hovel. I suppose that's what our cottage would be compared to this place. Then you've got your work cut out for you, old son, Lucian said. I am sure her life will be a fine replacement for Andreas's. Maybe she can even train with the others on the border. A snarl of irritation resonated through the air. The shining, spotless halls swallowed me up before I could hear more. Alice led me through the halls of gold and silver until we came to a lavish bedroom at the second level. I'll admit, I didn't find it that hard when Alice and the two other servants, also masked, bathed me, cut my hair, and then plucked me until I felt like a chicken being prepared for dinner. For all I knew, I might very well be their next meal. It was only the High Fae's promise to live out my days in Prynthian instead of dying that kept me from being sick at the thought. While all these fairies also looked human, save for their ears, I'd never learned what the High Fae called their servants, but I didn't dare ask or to speak to them, not when just having their hands on me, having them so close, was enough to make me focus solely on not trembling. Still, I took one look at the velvet tourniquet dress. Velvet tourniquet dress. What the fuck, Wise? We just making up shit. Holy crap. Still, I took one look at the velvet turquoise dress Alice had placed on the bed, wrapped by my white dressing gown tightly around me, sinking into a chair and pleading for my old clothes to be returned. Alice refused. And when I begged again, trying my best to sound pathetic and sad and pitiful, she stormed out. I hadn't worn a dress in years. I wasn't about to start. Not when escaping was my main priority. I wouldn't be able to move freely in a gown. Bundled up in my robe, I sat for a minute after minute. The chattering of the small birds in the garden beyond the windows the only sound. No screaming, no clashing weapons, no hint of any slaughter or torture. The bedroom was large in the entire cottage. The walls were pale green, delicately sketched with patterns of golds, and the moldings were golden as well. I might have thought it tacky if the ivory furniture and the rugs not complemented it so well. The gigantic bed was of a similar color scheme, and the curtains that hung from the towering headboard drifted in the faint breeze of the open windows. My dress gown was of the finest silk, edged with lace, simple and exquisite enough that I ran my fingers along the lapels. The few stories I'd heard had been wrong, or 500 years of separation that muddled them. Yes, I was still prey, stillborn and weak compared to them, but this place was peaceful, calm. Unless that was an illusion. Oh, girl, if you only knew what illusions are going on right now, too. And the loophole in the treaty was a lie. They can't lie. You're good. A trick to set me at ease before they destroyed me. Oh, you're going to get destroyed, all right. The High Fae liked to play with their food. The door cracked and Alice returned, a bundle of clothes in her hands. She lifted a sodden grayish shirt. You want to wear this? I gasped at all the holes in the sleeves and the sides. It fell apart at the moment. The laundry. Ha! The laundress put it in the water. God damn the Nicky Zicky. The dirt was holding the clothes together. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been like that coming out of the field. It's nasty. You don't want to do it. I'm telling you. She held up a few scraps of brown. Here's what's left of your pants. I clamped down on the cursing building in my chest. She might be a servant, but she could easily kill me too. Will you wear the dress now? She demanded. I knew I should get up, should agree, but I slumped further in my seat. Alice stared at me down for a moment before leaving again. She returned with trousers and a tunic that fit me well, both of them rich in color. A bit fancy. Excuse me. A bit fancy, but I didn't complain when I donned the white shirt, nor the button in the dark blue tunic, and ran my hands over the scratchy golden thread embroidered on the lapels. It had cost a fortune itself, and it tugged at the useless part of my mind that admired the love in strange and colorful things. I was too young to remember much before my father's downfall. He tolerated me enough to allow to loiter about his office and sometimes even explain various goods and their worth, the details of which I'd long since forgotten. My time in his office, full of the sense of the exotic spices and the music of foreign tongues, made up the majority of a few happy memories. I didn't know to the worth of everything in this room and understand that the emerald curtains alone, silk with gold velvet, could have fed us for a lifetime. Alice herded me back, excuse me. Alice herded me into the lower backed chair before a darkened fireplace, and I didn't fight it as she ran a comb through my hair and began braiding it. You are hardly more than skin and bones, she said, her fingers luxurious against my scalp. Winter does that, poor mortals, I said, fighting to keep the sharpness from my tone. She huffed and she laughed. If you're wise, that's me. You keep your mouth shut and your ears open. It'll do you more good than you'll hear than your loose tongue. And keep your wits about you. Even your senses will try to betray you here. I tried not to cringe at the warning. Alice went on. Some folks are bound to be upset about Andreas. Yet if he asked me, Andreas was a good sentinel, but he knew what he would face if he crossed the wall. Knew he'd likely find trouble. And the others understand the terms of the treaty too, even if they might resent your presence, thanks to the mercy of our master. Oh, Alice, you know I like you, but God, you are, so keep your head down and none of them will bother you. Though Lucian, he could do with some snapping at him, if you had the courage for it. I didn't, and when I went to ask more about whom I should try to avoid, she had already finished with my hair and opened the door to the hall. Woo! All right, that's the end of that chapter. Hey, P, what's up, love? How you doing? How you doing? All right, let's go. Oh, some of our new friends already had to dip out on us. Oh, that sucks. Oh, well, I hope they had a good time for the time that they were here. Hopefully we will see them again. Instead, the ones that are here, you get our favorite new button. Yes, ma'am, she is. Yes, ma'am, she is. Isn't that amazing? And, excuse me, and there's a rumor she might show up later in the week. I'm just saying. What a time to be alive. We're back in ACOTAR land doing the stories. We got Nico with us. The OGs are here. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? All right, and listen, and also, oh no, Allie. Oh, but Allie, you are going on an adventure, so that is okay. You're about to go on an adventure. Dun, 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 dun. So that is amazing. That is okay. Hopefully we'll be able to see some pics. Make sure they're appropriate. Yes, Please send pics. And through conversations of me and Lady Liz and some conversations in the Discord, we have some more ideas cooking. Just know that we're going to leave it at that. But I'll tell you what, get ready because it's coming. All right, where are we at now? We are on, what do we got here? Oh, no. Ooh, we got a big chapter. Ooh, that's a pretty big one. Ooh, we got a big chapter coming up. Okay, chapter 7's a big one. All right. Let's get into it. A chapter. Oh, hey, yes. On page 52. Okay, what you got? Okay, yeah, Tamlin's Mercy. Yeah, what would you like to talk about? Yeah, they feed. Yeah. Last paragraph on 52. Okay, they say the fox-masked fairy sank into the edge of the table, the light catching in from his long fire or red hair. I could understand his mask with the brutal scar, missing eye, and the other face seemed fire. Perhaps these were in solidarity. Well, the wear-haired ones were stuck. Now that we're stuck with that, thanks to your useless mercy, and you've ruined. Useless mercy. That's what you want to talk about right there? Yeah, and you've ruined, and he got cut off because she stepped forward. I wasn't sure he was going to say it, but being spoken to that way, I kept my mouth shut, but it wasn't enough. And then he says, did you enjoy schmilling my friend human? Okay, so I think this is now, he's trying to get the mortal girl to break the curse. Right. Amarantha's Mercy. Okay, so it could be personally, I think what they're doing is, I think this is part of the plan. Okay, because, all right, everybody's in here has read this. So yeah, okay. 3, 2, 1 spoilers. All right. As we all know, the plan is because Amaranth is cursed, right? You got, the curse is Tailman's got to make somebody who hates the Fae fall in love and do that, right? So I think what they're doing is they're trying to be like, oh, he could have done this. Be like, oh, this big scary beast could have easily just mollywopped me, but he's being so merciless. Oh, maybe I have it wrong about it. I think that's what this is kind of doing, because that's also kind of like Alice just talked about in the bathroom. You see what I'm saying? When Alice was in the bathroom, if you're wise, you hardly skin and bones, winter portal. If you're wise, you'll keep your mouth shut, your ears open. You'll do more good than lose your tongue. Some folk are bound to be upset. And she goes through that. Okay. Right. So exactly. So she'll see him as a savior, kind of like the enemies to lover, like, oh, he could have just taken your life, but he's being merciful and bringing you here. It's all part of the ruse to get her to fall in love. That's how I take that. That's how I take that. Excuse me. Okay, 53. Lucian gets cut off again. Okay. At which spot on 53, I stepped forward. Did you enjoy killing my friend? Did you hesitate? It was a hatred riding in your heart. The golden hair. Okay. Anyway, the fox mask continued. He would have lightly laughed, drawn a weapon. Perhaps there's a way to... Lucian. Behave. My apologies. And then he starts to be nice. I think right there he's saying, I wonder if there's a way to get back. Perhaps there's a way to, let's see, what would that be? To find out. Maybe Let's see, as if they studied me or reached for the knife. Anyway, the fox mask continues, companion would lightly if I drew a weapon. I think it's a way to get her to talk. And then, yeah, and then Tamlin tells her to behave. I think he's just trying to get up under there to kind of, you know, keep her off her toes. You got to keep her distorted, make her feel, you got to get her dopamine and her adrenaline up. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, yeah, possibly. Maybe he did. Ooh, maybe trading her in to Amaranth. Maybe that was, you know what I mean? That could very well be. Maybe he's like, hey, maybe if we take it to the redheaded bitch up in the fucking, you know what I'm saying? Maybe she'll be like, this bitch, and want to play with them. You know what I mean? There could be many things we won't really truly know. Theories and butt plug. Are y'all really has it got a flared base? Listen, flared bases, okay? Flared bases. That's all I'm gonna say. Flared bases, y'all, okay? I seen the fireman on the tiki-talkie. All right. Are we good, Jessica? Are we good, love? See, exactly. Emily, see, I'm telling you. The fireman on the tiki-talkie, I've trust me, well, digressing. Anyway, flared bases, the tiki-talkie guy. All right. Yeah, no worries. That's what we're here for. That is what we are here for. You know what I'm saying? There's a fireman on tiki-talkie, and he talks about, like, people are like, oh, you could, and he's like, no, don't do it. And, you know, because it's got to have a flare base. Yeah, badge 502. Yes, that guy. Thank you, Belle. Thank you. Yes. That's not those firemen. Q, not those. Q. All right. Okay. Y'all are beach toys, and the safety briefing is later. All right. Chapter 7. It's going to be wow. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the chaos of Wise Beyond the Stories and my voices. Chapter 7. The golden-haired High Fae and Lucian were lounging at the table when Alice returned me to the dining room. They no longer had plates before them, but still sipped from golden goblets. Real gold, not paint or foil, excuse me. Our matched cutlery flashed through our mismatched cutlery flashed through our mind as I paused in the middle of the room. Such wealth, such staggering wealth. We had nothing. A half-wild beast, Nesta had called me. Oh, Nesta, I love you, my little bitch. But compared to him, compared to this place, compared to the elegant, easy way, their goblets, the way the golden hair had called me human, we were all half-wild beasts to the High Fae, even if they were the ones who donned fur and claws. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy right now is I'm sitting here and she's eating and I'm thinking, is this Nesta's right now? Nesta is walking around looking for this chick right now. Nesta is out there looking right now. I'm just saying. All the small things. I don't want to know what you're talking. Who can name that movie? What movie? What movie we talking about, Q? Fight Club. Food still remained on the table. The array of spices linger in the air, beckoning, and I starved. My head unnerving light. The golden hair Fae mask gleamed in the last rays of the afternoon sunshine. Before you ask again, the food is safe for you to eat. He pointed to the chair at the other end of the table. No sign of his claws. When I didn't move, he sighed sharply. What do you want then? I said nothing. To eat? Flee? Save my family? Lucian drawed from his seat along with the length of the table. I told you so, Tamlin. He flicked a glance towards his friend. Your skills with females have definitely become rusty in recent decades. Tamlin. Oh, Tamlin. He glowered at Lucian, shifting in his seat. I tried not to stiffen at the other bits of information Lucian had given away. Decades. Tamlin didn't look much older than me. That bitch is old as fuck! But his kind was immortal. He could He could be hundreds of years old. Thousands. My mouth dried up as I carefully studied their strange, masked face. Unearthly, primal, and imperious, like immovable gods on pharaoh couriers. Well, Lucian said, his remaining russet eye fixed on me. You don't look half as bad now. Jackass. A relief, I suppose, since you're to live with us. Though the tunic isn't as pretty as a dress. Wolves, ready to pounce, that's what they were, just like their friend. I was all too aware of my diction. The very breath I took, I said, I'd prefer to not wear that dress. And why not? Lucian crowned. It was Tamlin who answered me. Because killing us is easier in pants. Dun, dun, dun. I kept my face blank, willing my heart to calm as I said, Now that I'm here, what? What do you plan to do with me? Lucian snorted. Oh, thank you for the gifts, Bobby Lee. What's up? Welcome, Bobby. I hope you're having a good day. Okay, Tamlin, because killing us is easier in pants. I kept my face blank, willing my heart. Now that I'm here, what do you plan to do with me? Lucian snorted. But Tamlin said with a snarl of annoyance, Just sit down. An empty seat had pulled out of the end of the table. So many food, piping hot and wafting those enticing spices. The servants had probably brought out the new food while I washed. So much wasted. I clenched my hands into fists. We're not going to bite. Hard. Lucian's white teeth gleamed in a way that suggested otherwise. I avoided his gaze, avoiding that strange animated metal eye that focused on me as I inched to my seat and sat down. Tamlin rose, stalking around the table, closer and closer, each movement smooth and lethal, a predator blooded with power in an effort to keep still, especially as he picked up a dish, brought it over to me, and piled some meat and sauce on my plate. I said quietly, I can serve myself. Anything to keep him well away from me. Tamlin paused, so close that one swipe of those claws lurking under the skin could rip my throat. That was what the leather baldric bore, no weapons. Why use them when you were a weapon yourself? It's an honor for a human to be served by a high fae, he said roughly. Yeah, but I bet you wish she would serve you. Aha! Sorry. Digressing. Maybe some soup? I swallowed hard. Well, maybe later. He continued piling various foods on my plate, stopping only when it was a heaping with meat and sauce and bread, and then filled my glass with paling, sparkling wine. Bye, Cord. Have a good night. Human honor to be served. I swallowed hard, piling the cord of various foods high on my plate, stopping only when it was a heaping meat and sauce and bread, and then filled my glass with paling, sparkling wine. I loosed a breath as he prowled back to his seat. Then he could probably hear it. I wanted nothing more than to bury my face in his abs. My face in the plate and then eat my way down to the table. But I pinned my hands beneath my thighs and stared at the two fairies. They watched me, too close to be casual. Tamlin straightened a bit and said, You look a bit better than before. Was that a compliment? I could have sworn Lucian gave Tamlin an encouraging nod. And your hair is clean. Oh, Tamlin's dropping bars. Bars, my guy. You look nice and your hair is clean. Oh, Tamlin. Oh, God. Give it to me, Tam. Chode. Perhaps it was my raging hunger making me hallucinate the piss-poor attempt at flattery. Still, I leaned back and kept my words calm and quiet, the way I might speak to the other predators. You are high fae? Fairy nobility? Lucian coughed and looked at Tamlin. You can take that question. Yes, Tamlin frowned, as if searching for anything to say to me. He settled on merely, we are. Fine. A man, fairy of few words. I had killed his friend. Was an unwanted guest. I wouldn't want to talk to me either. What do you plan to do with me now that I'm here? Do you want the truth, Feyre? Do you want the truth? Because you can't handle the truth. Sorry. I don't know why I'm sorry. This is usually not how I am. I'm sorry. This is not appropriate of me. I don't think I'm acting in a very professional manner. I'll try to get it together. All right. I'm sorry. Tamlin's eye didn't leave my face. Nothing. Do whatever you want, lying ass bitch. So I'm not to be your slave? I dared ask. Lucian choked on his one. Tamlin didn't smile. I don't keep slaves. I ignored the release of tightness in my chest at that. But what am I to do with my life here? Well, him, actually. I pressed, but you're not gonna... Do you wish me to earn my keep? To work? A stupid question. If I hadn't considered it, but I had to know. Tamlin stiffened. What you do with your life isn't my problem. Lucian pointed clear at his throat, and Tamlin flashed a glare. After an exchange, a look I couldn't read. Tamlin sighed and said, Don't you have any interests? No, not entirely true, but I wasn't about to explain the painting to him. Not when he was apparently having a great deal of trouble just talking to me civilly. Lucian muttered, so typical human. Tamlin's mouth quirked to the side. Do whatever you want with your time. Just stay out of trouble. So you truly mean for me to stay here forever? What I meant was, so I'm to stay in this luxury while my family starves to death? I didn't make the rules, Tamlin said tersely. My family is starving, I said. I didn't mind begging for not... I didn't mind begging. Not for this. I'd given my word and held that for so long that I was nothing and no one without it. Please let me go. There must be some sort of other loophole out there in the treaty's rules, or another way to atone. Atone? Lucian said. Have you even apologized yet? Apparently all attempts to flatter me were dead and gone. So I looked Lucian right in his remaining russet eye. I'm sorry! Lucian leaned back in his chair. How did you kill him? Was it bloody fight or just cold-blooded murder? My spine stiffened. I shot him with an ash arrow, and then an ordinary arrow through the eye. He didn't put up a fight. After the first shot, he just stared at me. Yet you killed him anyway, though he made no move to attack you. And then you skinned him. Lucian hissed. Enough, Lucian, Tamlin said to his courier with a snarl. I don't want to hear the details. He turned to me, ancient and brutal and unyielding. I broke before he could say anything. My family won't last a month without me, Lucian chuckled, and I gritted my teeth. Do you know what it's like to be hungry? I demanded, anger rising to devour my common sense. Do you know what it's like to not know when the next meal will be? Tamlin's jaw tightened. Your family is alive and well cared for. Yeah, no shit. No shit. They really are. I'm not... Okay, he's not lying this time. I get it. You don't know that, but it's okay. You think you so low of fairies that you believe I'd take their only source of income and nourishment and not replace it. I straightened. You swear it? Even if fairies couldn't lie. I had to hear it. A low, incredulous laugh. On everything that I am and possess. Why not tell me that when I left the cottage? Would you have believed me? Do you even believe me now? Tamlin's claws embedded in the arms of his chair. Why should I trust a word you say? You're all masters of spinning your own truth to your own advantage. Yeah, absolutely. You would say it's unwise to insult the Fae in his home, Tamlin grounded out. Some would say you should be grateful for me finding you before another one of my kind came to claim the debt, for sparing your life and then offering you this chance to live in comfort. What? What am I doing? Wise way not to welcome the newbies into... What newbies? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What did I do? Did I do something? I don't have any newbies in here. What are we talking about? I'm so confused. Oh, sorry. I'm trying, y'all. Listen, if we get a really newbie in here, I'll try a lot better, but I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Some would say you should be grateful for me finding you, but another one of my kind came to pay the debt for sparing your life and then offering you a chance to live in comfort. I shot to my feet. Wisdom be damned, I'd be about to kick back my chair when an invisible hand clamped down on my arms and shoved me back into the seat. Oh shit! It's literally invisible arms, y'all! It's literally invisible arms. Holy shit. No crap. Bottom of 62. Y'all see that shit? It says that. Jessica, hang on. Have you read this yet, Jessica? Am I fucking shit up? Have you read this, Jessica? I don't want to be fucking shit up. Okay, yeah. No, it's the people invisible that she can't see, the glamour ones. I thought it was magic. No, it's legit people. Sit your bitch ass down, American fucking human. That shit's fucking funny. Oh my God. That shit's fucking funny. Yeah, it's got to be the servants, the one she can't see. Yeah. Oh, that was funny. Exactly. Yeah, the first time I thought it was his powers. Now it's the people. Oh, that shit's fucking hilarious. It's the people this time. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. Oh, these are going to be long streams because I'm sorry. Commentary. I didn't plan for that. Anyway, do not do whatever it was you were contemplating, Tamlin said. I was still at the tang of the magic searing my nose. I tried to twist in the chair, testing my invisible bonds, but the arms were secure, and my back was pressed to the wood so hard that it ached. I glanced at the knife beside my plate. I should have gone for it first. Futile. Effort or no. I'm going to warn you once. Tamlin said too softly. Excuse me. Only once. What? Holy shnikes. Only once. Holy, there are 7 people on YouTube. Wow, that's a new record, honestly. Wow, thank you for everybody for joining, or whoever is over there watching. I appreciate that. Tamlin said too softly. Only once, and then it is on you, human. I don't care if you live somewhere else in Prythian, but if you cross the wall, if you flee, your family will no longer be cared for. Yeah, you missed that whole... I don't know if you were in there watching it.
I was messing with the girls and the cats, and all of a sudden I heard you say something about a flared bass, and I was like, I've got to turn that down. Because they're on call with a friend.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. That's so funny. It is. Oh, that's funny. Okay, here we go. Oh, wow. His words were like stones to the head. If I escaped, even if I tried to run, I might very well doom my family. And even if I dared risk it, even if I succeeded in reaching them, where would I take them? I couldn't stow my sisters away on a ship. Once we arrived somewhere else, somewhere safe, we'd have nowhere to live. But for him to hold my family's well-being against me, to throw away their survival if I stepped out of line, that is the last thing. Oh, God. I opened my mouth, but the snarl rattled the glasses. That's not a fair bargain. I'm just remembering how I felt the first time I read that. And if you flee, then you might not be so lucky with whomever comes to retrieve you next. His claws slip back under the knuckles. The food is not enchanted or drugged. It will be your own damn fault if you faint. So you're going to sit at the table and eat, Feyre. And Lucian will do his best to be polite. He threw a pointed look at the direction of Lucian. Lucian shrugged. The invisible bonds loosened, and I winced and I whacked my hands at the underside of the table. The bonds on my legs and middle remained intact. Once glance at Tamlin's smoldering eyes told me what I wanted to know. His guest or not, I wasn't getting up from this table until I'd eaten something. I'd think about the sudden change in my plans to escape later. For now, I'd eyed the silver fork and carefully picked it up. They still watched me, watched my every move, the flare of my nostrils, and I sniffed the food on my plate. No metallic stench of magic. And fairies couldn't lie. So he had to be right about the food then. Stabbing a piece of chicken, I took a bite. It was an effort to keep from grunting. If I hadn't had this food in a good year, even the meals we'd had before our downfall were little more than ash compared to this. I ate my entire plate in silence, too aware of the high fae observing every bite. But I reached for a second helping of the chocolate torte. The food vanished. Just vanished, as it had never existed. Not a crumb left behind. I wish we had some fucking dinners like that, you know what I mean? God damn, just to pick up I mean, your food's, you're like, you know what I mean? Your food is amazing, but the cleanup, I hate doing that shit. Swallowing hard. That's what she said. I set my fork down so they wouldn't see my hands start to shake. One more bite and you'll hurl up your guts. She wants the watery bowels. I know what you're doing. Tamlin said, drinking deeply from his goblet. Bonds holding me loosened silently. I'm sorry, but I have to keep my hand on the book. The bonds holding me loosened, silent permission to leave. Thank you for the medal, I said. It was all I could think of. Won't you stay for wine? Lucian said with a sweet venom from where he lounged in the seat. I braced my hands in my chair. What was that?
I don't know what he's doing. You heard it too?
Is somebody in Discord going in and out of a room? What? What is going on? I don't know if y'all hear that. The aliens are trying to. Y'all hear that, right? What's this? What's this? There's magic in the air. What's this? What's this? I don't know. It shouldn't be. No, that is weird. That was weird. All right. I think it stopped. That was super weird. They're trying to reach us about our car's extended warranty. That's funny as hell. All right. All right, one more bite and you'll hurl up your guts, Tamlin said, drinking deeply from his goblet, the bonds holding me loose, silent permission to leave. Thank you for the meal, I said. It was all I could think of. Won't you stay for wine? Lucian said with a sweet venom from where he lounged in the seat. I braced my hands to the chair. I'm tired. I'd like to sleep. It's been a few decades since I last saw one of you, Lucian drawled. But humans never change, so I don't think I'm wrong in asking why you find our company to be so unpleasant when surely the men back home aren't much to look at. You sound so conceited right there, Lucian. I get it, but really? Come on, pretty boy. All right, I'm sorry. At the other end of the table, Tamlin gave his emissary a long... God, this is why oh, my God. At the other end of the table, Tamlin gave his emissary a long, warning look. Lucian ignored it. You're high fae, I said tiredly. I'd ask why you'd even bother inviting me here at all, or dine with me. Fool, I should have really been killed 10 times already over. Lucian said, true, but indulge me. You're a human woman, and yet you'd rather eat hot coals than sit here longer than necessary. Ignoring this. He waved a hand at the metal eye and brutal scar on his face. Surely we're not so miserable to look at. Typical fairy vanity and arrogance. That, at least, the legends had been right about. I tucked the knowledge... I tucked the knowledge away, unless you have someone back home, unless there's a line of suitors out the door you'll hovel to make us seem like worms in comparison. There was enough dismissal that I took a little bit of satisfaction in saying, I was close with a man back in my village. Are we really calling Isaac a man? Rubbing, tugging it close with Isaac. Oh, Farah. Young, dumb, and so illiterate. Before that treaty ripped me away, before it became clear that you're allowed to do as you please to us, but we can hardly strike back against you. Tamlin and Lucian exchanged glances, but it was Tamlin who said, Are you in love with this man? No, I said as casual as I could. It wasn't a lie, but even if I felt anything like that for Isaac, my answer would have been the same. It was bad enough that the High Fae now knew my family existed. I didn't need to add Isaac to that list. Again, I share the look between the two males. And do you love anyone else? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone of all ages, wise beyond the stars, proudly presents to you the one, the only, Jonesy! Coming back, good sir. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. Tamlin and Lucian. What it was? Lucian. Wow, I just lost. Who is Lucian? Lucian Thunder Liger. That used to be an old wrestler. He sounds like a jerk. Tamlin and Lucian exchanged glasses, but it was Tamlin who said, "Are you in love with this man?" "No," I said casually, but even if I felt that way of anything like Isaac, I didn't need Isaac to be added to the list. Again, that look shared between the two males. "And do you love anyone else?" Tamlin said through the clenched teeth. A burst of laughter out of me tinged with hysteria. "No." I looked between them. Nonsense. These lethal immortal beings really had nothing better to do than this. Is this really what you care to know about me? If I find you more handsome than human men, and if I have a man back home? I mean, they're trying to set you up. I mean, this is so wrong. On so many levels, why bother to ask at all when I'll be stuck here for the rest of my life? A hot line of anger sliced through my senses. "We wanted to learn more about you since you'll be here for a good while," Tamlin said, his lips in a fine line. But Lucian's pride tends to get in the way of his manners. He sighed, as if ready to be done with me, and said, "Go rest. We're both busy most days, so if you need anything, ask the staff. They'll help you." "The ones she can or can't see." "Why?" I asked. "Why be so generous?" "'Cause he's playing you like a fiddle." Lucian gave me a look at that suggestion that he had no idea either, given that murder in contemplation, but Tamlin stared at me for a moment longer. "I killed too often as it is," Tamlin said finally, shrugging his broad shoulders, "and you're insignificant enough to ruffle this estate." God damn, you're that insignificant! Oh, that is rough. Unless you decide to start killing us. No spoilers? Who's no spoilers? Are we no spoilering now? Is that what I'm doing? What? I see Q says no spoilers. I just gotta make sure am I filtering myself right now or unfiltering myself? Oh. I'm seeing Q right here. I'm like, oh Lord, I don't want to be dropping. I think everybody's good. Oh, he's okay. Got you. Okay, I got We're there. We are there. Gotcha. A fainted warmth bloomed in my cheeks, my neck insignificant. Yes, I was significant to their lives, their power insignificant as they faded, chipping design as I painted around the cottage. "Well," I said, not quite feeling grateful at all. "Thank you." He had a distant nod and motion for me to leave. Dismissed, like the lowly human I was. Lucian propped his chin at first and gave me a lazy half smile. Enough. I got to my feet and backed towards the door. Putting my back to them would have liked walking away from a wolf. Sparing my life, or no. They said nothing, like when I slipped out the door. A moment later, Lucian barking, a laugh echoing into the hallways, followed by a sharp, vicious growl that shut him up. I slipped fitfully that night and locked the door in my bedroom more like a joke than anything. Shh. That's a good one, DW. I like that one. All right. I was wide awake before dawn, but I remembered staring at the filigree ceiling, watching the growing light creep between the drapes, savoring the softness down the mattress. I was usually out of the cottage by the first light, though my sister assisted me every morning waking from so early. If I were home, I'd already be entering the woods, not wasting a moment of precious sunlight, listening to the drowsy chatter of the few winter birds. Instead, this bedroom and the house beyond were silent, the enormous bed foreign and empty. A small part of me missed the warmth of my sister's bodies overlapping with mine. Nesta must be stretching her legs and smiling at the extra room. She was probably content imagining me in the belly of a fairy, probably using the news as a chance to be fussed over by the villagers. Maybe my fate would prompt them to give my family some handouts, or maybe Tamlin had to give them enough money, or food, or whatever he thought taking care of them consisted of, to last through the winter. Or maybe the villagers would turn on the family not wanting to be associated with people tied to Prynthian and run them out of town. I buried my face in the pillow, pulling the blankets higher. If Tamlin had indeed provided for them, if those benefits would cease in the moment I crossed the wall, then I'd likely resent my return and celebrate it. "Your hair is clean?" A pathetic compliment. I suppose that if he'd invited me to live here to spare my life, he couldn't be completely wicked. Perhaps he's just trying to be smooth over our very, very rough beginning. Maybe there would be some way to persuade him to find some loophole, to get whatever magic that bond to the treaty to spare me. And if not, then some way, then someone. I was drifting from one thought to another, trying to sort through the jumble when the lock on the door clicked. There was a stretch and a thud, and the bolt upright as I find Alice in a heap on the floor. The length of the rope I had made from the curtain trimming had now loosely hung from where I forgot about the trap where I'd rigged it to snap anyone's face. It had been the best but I could do. You don't fair, you stupid twat. I'm sorry, I blurted out, leaping from the bed. But Alice was already, I know, last time I called Fair name, we know what happened last time. Sorry, last time I called Fair names. Oh, Lord.
She's really smart, you guys.
Farrah is the smartest person we know. Please, TikTok, I don't need to catch another ban. I'm sorry I blurted out from my bed, but Alice is already pissing at me as she brushed off her apron. She frowned at the rope dangling from the light fixture. What in the bottomless depths of the cauldron is... I don't think anyone would be here so early. I meant to take it down, and Alice looked me over from head to toe. You think a bit of rope snapping in my face will keep me from breaking your bones? My blood went cold. You think that will do anything against us? I might have kept apologizing if it weren't for the snare she gave me. I crossed my arms. It was a warning bell to give me time to run, not a trap. She seemed poised to spit on me, but then her sharp brown eyes narrowed. Oh, Jonesy, take care. I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you. I appreciate you. Go off to build that Fey body. Hell yeah. I love it. I might have to keep apologizing for not for the snare she gave me. I crossed my arms. It was also a warning bell to give me time to run. Not a trap. She seemed poised to spit on me, but then her sharp brown eyes narrowed. You can't outrun us either, girl. I know, I said, my heart claiming at last, but at least I wouldn't face my death unaware. Alice barked out a laugh. My master gave his word that you could live here. Live, not die. We will obey. She studied the hanging bits of the rope. But did you have to wreck those lovely curtains? I didn't want to. I tried not to. But a hint of a smile tugged at my lips. Alice strode over to the remnants of the curtains and threw them open, revealing a sky that was still a deep periwinkle. That's a bluish color, slashed with the hues of pumpkin and magenta at the raising dawn. I'm sorry, I said again. Alice clicked her tongue. At least you're willing to put up a fight, girl. I'll give you that. I opened my mouth to speak, but another female servant with the bird mask entered, a breakfast tray in hand. She bid me a curt good morning and set the tray on a small table by the window. It disappeared into the attached bathing chamber. The sound of running water filled the room. And they got some fuck you money. I sat at the table and studied the porridge and the eggs and the bacon. Bacon! Again, similar food to what we ate across the wall. I don't know what I'd expect otherwise. Alice poured me a cup. It would look like to smell like tea. Coffee's better. Full-bodied aromatic tea. Can't believe I just said that. No doubt. Well, I mean, coffee's always better than warm tea. Yeah. Well, I don't know. A good old chamomile or a nice rose tea with some honey is pretty good too. Sorry, digressing. Where was I? Full-bodied aromatic tea, no doubt imported at great expense. Prithian and my adjourning homeland weren't exactly easy to reach. What is this place? I asked her quietly. Where is this place? It's safe. That's all you need to know, Alice said, settling down the teapot. At least the house is. If you go poking around the grounds, keep your wits about you. Fine, I said as she wouldn't answer that. I tried again. What sort of fairies should I look out for? The invisible ones. All of them, Alice said. My master's protection only goes so far. They'll want you to hunt and kill you just for being human, regardless of what you did to Andreas. Another useless answer. I dug into my breast for savoring each rich sip of tea, and she sipped and slipped into the bathing chamber. When I was done eating and bathing, I refused Alice's offer to dress myself in another exquisite tunic. this one in a purple so deep that it could have been black. I wished I knew the names of the colors, but cataloged it anyway. I pulled the brown boots I'd wore the night before as I sat before a marble vanity letting Alice braid my wet hair. I clinged to my reflection. It wasn't pleasing, though not for the actual appearance. While my nose was relatively straight, it was the other feature I inherited from my mother. I could still remember how her nose crinkled with the foreign amusement of when her fabulous wealthy friends made some unfunny joke. No worry, Nika. Have a good time. Get that done. Yes, y'all. If y'all didn't know, y'all, Nika is going to be in Bali for the release of ACOTAR 6, y'all. Ain't that some shit? We should all be jelly. Have a great night. Thank you for stopping by, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Oh, all right. One funny joke. At least my father had a soft mouth, and it made a mockery of me two sharp, cheeky bones and hollow cheeks. I couldn't bring myself to look at my slightly up-tilted eyes. I knew I'd see Nesta or my mother looking back at me. I'd sometimes wondered if that was why my sister had insulted me about my looks. I was a far cry from ugly, but I bore too much of the people we hated and loved for people we hated and loved for Nesta to stand it. For me to stand it too. Though I suppose that for Tamlin, for High Fae, used that ethereal, flawless beauty, it had ethereal, flawless beauty, it had been a struggle to find a compliment. Fairy bastards. That's one of my words. Alice finished my palette. My plate? That's plate, right? Palette, plate? Pleat. Plate. Braid, right, okay. But probably it's plate. Okay. Finished my plate and I jumped up from the bench before she could weave the little flowers into the basket she brought. I would have lived up to my namesake were it not for the effects of poverty, but I never particularly cared. Beauty didn't mean anything in the forest. What is that? Sean! Is that my Sean? What up, brother? What's up? That's epic. The water fountain over there, no, right? What's up, Sean? What's up, brother? I appreciate you stopping by, man. That's epic as hell. All right, so she finished. When I asked Alice what to do now, what was I to do with the entirety of my mortal life, she shrugged and suggested a walk in the garden. I almost laughed, but I kept my tongue still. I'd be foolish to push aside potential allies. I doubted she had Tamlin's ear, and I could press her about it. But at least a walk provided a chance to glean some sense of my surroundings, and whether there was anyone else who might plead my case to Tamlin. The halls were silent and empty, strange for such a large estate. They'd mentioned others the night before, but I saw and heard no one, and no sign of them. A balming, breezing scent with... I never got that word. Was it well, that's a flower. Hythena. Hyacinth. A balm, breezy scent with hyacinth. I realized that only Elaine's small garden floated down the halls, carrying it from the pleasant chirping and the bunting of bird. I wouldn't hear back home for months, if I ever heard them at all. I was almost at the grand staircase when I noticed the paintings. I hadn't let myself really look yesterday, but now in the empty halls with no one to see me, a flash of color amid the shadowy, gloomy background made me stop. A riot of color and texture that compelled me to face the gilded frame. I never seen anything like it. It's just a still life, but part of me said, and it was a green glass vase with an assortment of flowers drooping over the narrow top, blossoms and leaves of every shape and color, roses, tulips, morning glories, golden rods, maidens laced in peonies. The skill it must have taken to make them look so lifelike, to make them more than lifelike. Just a vase of flowers against a dark background, but more than that. The flowers seemed to be vibrant with their own light, as if in defiance of the shadows gathered around them. The mastery needed to make a glass vase hold the light, to bend the night with the water within, as if the vase did indeed have weight. As if the vase did indeed have weight too. it atop its stone pedestal. Remarkable. Why is that sentence so hard for me to say? Holy shnikes. I could have stared at it for hours, and countless paintings along this hall alone could have occupied my entire day. But garden? Plans? Still, as I moved on, I couldn't deny that this place was far more civilized than I thought. Peaceful, even if I was willing to admit it, and then if the high fae were indeed gentler than human legends and rumors he led me to believe, then maybe convincing Alice of my misery might not be too hard. If I could win over Alice, convince her that the treaty had been wrong to demand such a payment from me, she indeed. See if there was anything to get me out of this debt. Yes, because the servant is going to change a 100-year-old treaty, Feyre. Just for you, my girl. Hey, set the bar high. Set it high. You, someone said, jumped back a step in the light of the own glass doors of the garden. Towering male figure stood silhouetted before me. Tamlin. He wore those warrior clothes cut loose to show off his toned body, and 3 simple knives now sheathed on his baldric, each long enough to look like they could gut me as easily as his beast's claws. His blonde hair had been tied back from his face, revealing the pointed ears and strange, beautiful mask. "Where are you going?" he said, gruffly enough to almost make it sound like a demand. You. I wondered if you even remembered my name. It took a moment to will enough strength in my legs to raise from my half-crouch. "Good morning," I said flatly. At least it was better than greeting than you. You said my time was to be spent however I wanted. I didn't realize I was on house arrest. His jaw tightened. Of course you're not under house arrest. Even as he bit out the words, I could ignore the sheer male beauty that his strong jaw, the rich of his golden tan skin. He was probably handsome if he ever took off that mask. When he realized that I wasn't going to respond, he bared his teeth in what I suppose was his attempt at a smile. "Do you want a tour?" "No, thank you." I managed to get out, conscious of every awkward motion of my body as I edged around him. Edged. Get off my wavelength. He stepped into my path close enough that he conceded a step back. "I'll be sitting inside all morning. I needed some fresh air. And you're insignificant enough that you wouldn't be a bother." "I'm fine," I said, casually dodging him. "You've been generous enough." I tried to sound like I meant it. A half smile, not so pleasant. No doubt unused to being denied. "Do you have some problem with me? Some sort of problem with me?" "No," I said quietly, walked through the doors. He let out a low snarl. "I'm not going to kill you, Feyre. I don't break my promises." Sorry, something really in my throat. Sorry. I almost stumbled down the garden steps as I glanced over my shoulder. He stood atop the stairs, as solid and ancient as the pale stones of that manor. Kill, but not harm. Is that another loophole? Okay, you get now that words matter. She gets that words matters now. But later, one that Lucian might use against me or anyone else. They're not under orders to not even touch you, yet I'm still trapped in your realm, breaking a rule I didn't know existed. Why was your friend even in the woods that day? I thought the treaty banned your kind from entering our lands. He just stared at me. Perhaps I'd gone too far, questioned him too much. Perhaps he could tell me why I really asked. "That treaty," he said quietly, "doesn't ban us from doing anything except enslaving you. The wall is an inconvenience. If we cared to, we could shatter it and march through there and kill you all. I might be forced to live in Prythian forever, but my family, I dare ask. And you care to destroy the wall?" He looked me up and down as if deciding whether I was worthy of an explanation, of explaining. "I have no interest in the mortal lands, though I can't speak of my kind." But he still hadn't answered my question. "Then what was your friend doing there?" Tamlin stilled. Such an earthly, primal grace, even to his breathing. "There is a sickness in these lands. Across Printhia, these lands for almost 50 years now. It is why this house and these lands are so empty." Lying-ass bitch! Most have left. The blight spread slowly, but it has made magic act strangely. My own powers are diminished due to it. Those masks he tapped on are the result of the surge that occurred during the masquerade 49 years ago. Even now, we can't remove them. Stuck in masks for nearly 50 years. I would have gone mad, would have peeled the skin off my face. You didn't have a mask as a beast, and neither did your friend. The blight is cruel like that. Either live as a beast or live with a mask. What sort of sickness? It's not a disease, not a plague or illness. It's only solely on magic, on those dwellings in Prynthian. Andreas was across the wall, the page turned. The wall that day because I sent him there to search for a cure. Can it hurt humans? My stomach twisted. Will it spread out over the walls? Yes. Is there a chance of the affecting mortals in your territory more than that? I don't know. It's slow moving and your kind seems safe for now. We haven't any progression in decades. Magic seems to have stabilized, even though it's been weakened. Though he'd even been admitted so much speaks volumes as he imagined my future. I'm never going home. I'm never going to encounter another human to whom I might spill this secret vulnerability. A mercenary told me she believed fairies might be thinking of attacking. Is it related? Hint of a smile, perhaps a surprise. I don't know. Do you talk to mercenaries often? I talk to whoever bothers to tell me anything useful. He straightened, and it is only his promise to not kill me that kept me from cringing. And he rolled his shoulders as if shaking off his annoyance. Was that tripwire you rigged in your room for me? I sucked in my teeth. Can you blame me if it was? I might take an animal form, but I am civilized, Feyre. So he did remember my name, at least, but it looked pointed at his hands, at the razor-sharp tips for the long, curved claws poking through the tan skin. Noticing my stare, he tucked his hands behind his back. He said sharply, I'll see you at dinner. It wasn't a request, but I still gave him a nod as I strode off between the hedges, not caring where I was going, only that he stayed far behind. A sickness in their lands affects their magic, draining from them. A magic blight that one day might spread to the human world after so many centuries without magic. We'd be defenseless against it, against whatever it could do to humans. I wonder if any high fae would bother warning my kind. It didn't take me long to know the answer. Bum, bum, bum. End of the chapter. That was one of the longer ones. I think that was the longest one for the night. Let's get a spinny spin in, and then we'll talk about some things we need to point out, yeah? Ooh, just saw there. Okay, so all right. What theory do we have anything to write down for that chapter? Oh, no worries, Alejandra. Oh, I appreciate that. Get some good sleep, and we will see you next time. Have an amazing day. Or an amazing evening. Okay, so just the invisible arms holding her down in the chair. Tamlin had deer antlers, wolf pelt, stench, animal balls, half dab, Yeah, okay. I'm sure he can smell. I mean, I'm sure Tamlin could smell. That's how he knew how to get there. Excuse me. I mean, I think that's everything, right? Yeah, I don't think there's really much. I want to know how he knows how Andreas died. That's a good question. Maybe he sensed it since they're like centuries. Maybe he could feel it or something.
Or he didn't come back.
Or since he didn't come back from his shift, maybe you just went to check on him. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, short chapter. Oh, this is a short chapter. All right. Here we go. Chapter 8. It's like 3 pages. Let's get it. Whoa, Mike's a little high into my mouth. That's what she said. I pretended to meander through the exquisite and silent gardens, mentally marking the paths and clever places for hiding if I ever needed them. He'd taken my weapons, and I wasn't stupid enough to hope for an ash tree somewhere on the property with which to make my own. But his baldric had been laden with knives, and there had been an armory somewhere on the estate. And if not, I would find another weapon, then steal it if I had it, just in case. Upon inspection the night before, I'd learned that there was no lock on my window. Sneaking out and rappelling down the wisteria vines wouldn't be difficult at all. I'd climbed enough trees to not mind the height. Not that I'd planned to escape, but it was good to know, at least, how I might do should I ever be desperate enough to risk it. I doubt Tamlin's claim the rest of Prynthian was deadly for a human, and if there was indeed some blight to these lands, I was better off here for the time being. Not without trying to find someone who might plead my case to Tamlin. Though Lucian, he could do with some snipping at if you'd encourage for it, Alice had said to me yesterday. I chewed on my stubby nails as I walked, considering every possible plan and pitfall. I'd been particularly good with words. I'd never learned the social welfare my sister and mother had been so adept at. But it'd been decent enough when selling hides at the village market, so perhaps I'd seek out Tamlin's emissary. Even if he detested me, he clearly had little interest in me living here. He suggested schmilling me. Perhaps he'd be eager to send me back to persuade Tamlin to find some other way to fulfill the treaty, if there was even one. I approached a beech in the alcove blooming with a foxglove, and the sounds and stepping around the shifting gravel filled the air. 2 pair of light, quick feet. I straightened, peering down the way I had come, but the path was empty. I lingered at the edge of the open field, lanky meadow butter. Ooh, right there. Okay, right there. Wait, but the path was empty. So this is another. I approached the bench from the alcove. Okay, the fox, 2 pair of light, quick feet. I straightened, peering down, and I come, but the path was empty. There's some more people, right? Is that some more invisible peoples? Or is that the... what is going on? Okay, empty. I lingered at the edge of the open field, lanky meadow buttercups. The vibrant green and yellow field was deserted. Behind me rose a gnarled crabapple tree in the garden. Glorious bloomed the petal of its flowers, littering the shaded bench at which I'd been about to sit. A breeze set the branches rustling, and a waterfall of white petals flittering down like snow. I scanned the garden field carefully, watching and listening for those 2 sets of feet. There was nothing in the tree or behind it. A pressed, my hands clenched into fists. Feyre! Alice's voice cut across the garden. I jumped out of my skin as she called me again. Feyre! Lunch! She hollered. I whirled and shouted, forming my lips to alert to whatever stood behind me, raising my fist, however futile it would be. But the shining things had vanished along with their sniffing and the giggling. I found myself facing a withered statue of 2 married bound lambs. I rubbed my neck. Alice called to me again. I took a shuddered breath, and I returned to the manor. But even as I strode through the hedges, carefully retracing my steps back to the house, I couldn't ease the creeping feeling that someone was watching me, curious and wanting to play. I agree. I think that's Alice's nephews. I feel that's Alice's nephews right there. That I feel. DW, you can write that one down. I believe that is something good to write down. I would like to find out for sure, but I believe because they're playing, they want to play, they want to have fun. Like, oh, this human, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. That's just me. I stole a knife from dinner that night just to have something, anything, to defend myself with. I can agree, I think. I turned out that dinner was the only meal that I was invited to attend, which was fine. 3 meals a day with Tamlin and Lucian would have been torturous. I could endure an hour of sitting at their fancy table if it made them think I was docile and had no plans to change my faith, while Lucian ranted to Tamlin about some malfunction at the magical carved eye that indeed allowed him to see. I slipped my knife down the sleeve of my tunic. My heart beat so fast I thought they could hear it. But Lucian continued speaking. Tamlin focused remained on his courier. Oh, thank you very much for the gifts. I love y'all. Appreciate that. Tamlin focused on his courier. I supposed I should have pitied it for the mask and they were focused to wear, for the blight that had infected their magic and people. But the less I interacted with them, the better, especially with Lucian. Woo! What is happening? We rolling in some gifts. Thank you, Lisa! Thank you! But I continued to focus on the crew, light and magic, but the less interacted with them, the better. Especially with Lucian, seemed finding everything I said to be hilariously human and uneducated. Well, unfortunately, Feyre, that's exactly what it is. Human and uneducated. Snipping into him wouldn't help my plans. It would be an uphill battle to win his favor, if only for the fact that I was alive and his friend was not. I'd have to deal with him alone, or risk raising Tamlin's suspicions too soon. Lucian's red hair shone in the firelight, the colors flickering with every movement he made. And the jewels in the hilt of his sword glinted in the ornate blade, unlike the baldric of his knives strapped across Tamlin's chest. But there was no one there to use his sword against, and while the swords were embedded with the jewels in the filigree, it was long enough to be more than a decoration. That's what she said. Perhaps it had something to do with those invisible things in the garden. Maybe he lost an eye and earned the scar in battle. I fought against a shudder. Alice had said that this house was safe, but warned me to keep my wits about me. What might lurk behind this house, or be able to use my human senses against me? Just how far would Tamlin's orders not to harm me stretch? What kind of authority did he hold? Lucian passed, and I found him smirking at me, making the scar even more brutal. Thank you again so much for the gifts. Holy shnikes, y'all. I appreciate that. Lucian passed, and I found him smirking at the scar even more brutal. Were you admiring my sword, or just contemplating killing me, Feyre? Of course not, I said softly and glancing at Tamlin. The gold flecks in his eyes glowed even from the other end of the table. My heart beat at a gallop. He had somehow heard me take the knife. The whisper of metal on wood. I forced myself to look again at Lucian. His lazy, vicious grin was still there. Act civilized. Behave, possibly win him to my side. I could do that. Tamlin broke the silence. Feyre likes to hunt. I don't like to hunt. I should have probably used a more polite tone, but I went on. I hunted out of necessity. And how do you know that? Tamlin's stare was bald, assessing. Why else were you in the woods that day? You had a bow and arrow in your house. I wonder whether he almost had to say hovel. When I said our father's hands, I knew it wasn't the one using. When I saw your father's hands, I knew he wasn't the one using them. No, because Dad's a little... He gestured to my scarred, my calloused hands. You told me about the rations and the money from the pelts. Fairies might be many things, but we're not stupid, unless your ridiculous legends claim that about us too. Ridiculous, insufficient. Yep, insufficient. I stared at the crumbs of bread and swirls in the remaining sauce as the golden plate. Had I been at home, I would have licked my plate clean, desperate for any extra bit of nourishment. And the plates. I could have bought a team of horses, plowed a field with just one of them. Disgusting. Lucian cleared his throat. How old are you? Anyway, 19. Pleasant. Civilized. Lucian tissed. So young, so grave, and a skilled killer already. I tightened my hand in a fist, the metal of the knife warm against my skin. Docile. Unthreatening. Tame. I made my mother a promise, and I'd keep it. Tamlin's looking after all. My family wasn't the same as my looking after them. That wild, small dream could still come to pass. My sisters comfortably be married off, and a lifetime with my father, with enough food for us both, and time to maybe paint a little. Or maybe to learn what I wanted. It could still happen. In a faraway land, perhaps. If I ever got out of this bargain, I could still cling to the scrap of a dream that these high fae will likely laugh at how typical human it was to think so small, to want so little. Yet any bit of information might help. If I showed interest in them, perhaps they would warn me. If it was anything but another trap in the woods, so I said, So this is what you do with your lives? Spare humans with treaties and have fine meals? I gave a pointed glance toward Lucian. I grabbed a pointed glance toward Tamlin's baldric, the warrior's clothes, Lucian's sword. Lucian smirked. We also danced with the spirits under the full moon and snatched human babies from their cradles to replace them with changelings. It didn't, Tamlin interrupted, his voice deep, surprisingly gentle. Didn't your mother tell you anything about us? I prodded the table with my forefinger, digging my short nails into the wood. My mother didn't have time to tell me stories. I couldn't reveal that part about my past, at least. Lucian, for once, didn't laugh. After rather a still pause, Tamlin asked, how did she die? While I lifted my brows, I added a bit more softly. I didn't see any signs of older women in the house, predator or not. I didn't need this pity, but I said, typhus. When I was 8, I rose from my seat. Ah, we're going to need to mark that one down. Did she really die of typhus, or is that what she was said? Okay, I don't know. Did she really die of typhus? Did she? When I was 8, I rose from my seat. Feyre, Tamlin said it. I turned half, and a muscle feathered in his cheek. Lucian glanced between us, the metal eye roving. I kept in silence. Then Tamlin shook his head, the movement more animal than anything, and murmured, I'm sorry for your loss. I tried to keep from grimacing as I turned on my heel and I left. I didn't want or need this condolences. Not from my mother. Not when I hadn't missed her in years. Let Tamlin dismiss me as rude. Uncouth human, not worth his careful watch. I better off persuading Lucian to speak to Tamlin on my behalf. And soon. Before any of these other whom mentioned appeared, or this blighted or grown, tomorrow. I'd speak to Lucian then. Test him out a bit. In my room, I found a small satchel in the armoire, filled it with a spare set of clothes along with the stolen knife. It was a pitiful blade, but a bit of cutlery was better than nothing, just in case I was ever allowed to go, and I had to leave at a moment's notice, just in case. All right, so anything else? What else was there anything else besides how mom died, Jessica? You have marked that down. Are we talking about how mom died or something else? Oh, the steal the babies part. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Shh. Lucian smirked. We also danced with the spirits under the full moon and snatched human babies from their cradles and replaced them with changelings. Okay. You got some sus shit about that? Do we think Feyre is a changeling? I mean, it's something to look into. Maybe Mama Acheron is a changeling? Okay. I mean, it's something. Possibly Elaine? Okay. But if she's a changeling, she might have had Fae features. Possibly. Making fun of her stupidity? Maybe been glam. Okay. I mean, it could be. I mean, we'll write it down. It might be something. It might be nothing. You know what I mean? We gonna write it down, and it'll be something to look into deeper. But I like it. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. We're just gonna look into it. Right? He might be telling the truth. He might just be a smart ass trying to scare more. Or nesting is a changeling, and that's why the glamour didn't work. See, I think. Okay, again. I'm going to go back to my whole Nesta thing. I think Nesta, Mama Nesta, okay, if there's anybody in here, if you haven't read the Mossverse spoilers coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, you've been warned. Okay, I personally still think Nesta is witchy, is Iron Teeth Witch, you know what I'm saying? And Daddy is somebody from that land. And that's why she's a little bit more powerful. We've been talking a few things back and forth. She's even dropped out. I know you're going to say I said maybe like an Erewhon's little brooding birthing thing. And then she was like, maybe even before Erewhon started that, maybe he just, hey, there's a witchling over there. And just, maybe it's just somebody more powerful or something. And then they escaped and got there. And then Feyre and Elaine are just daddy actor. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely think that.
See, DW, I said that too, but the baby, but that, unless the mama. Okay, now how about this? I mean, but Astern, it wasn't it cut out? Oh man,
I think Daddy Archeron found Mama Archeron
right
when she was like in a 16 and pregnant kind of situation, or
right.
a young mother, and Nesta
escaped,
was a wee little baby already, and
right.
she was on the run, and
yeah.
I think Daddy Archeron was like, "Oh, you're beautiful. I'm gonna save you," and then swooped her up because she's the oldest. The other two wouldn't be able to confirm. And then she had two more, and then just by default it was the three.
Right. So that's a theory we've been bouncing. And DW 100% right. We don't know again, and that's one thing. Like a lot of people with these theories, like that you can't. Okay, that's part of the theory. We don't know. Could it possibly be? Yeah, absolutely. So again, this is why we jot it down, and then we gonna get we'll figure it out. 100%. I like that. Morgan's mother is Rihanna Cochran. Ooh, I like that one. Oh, don't worry, Dr. Lego. I understand. Thanks for dropping that bit of knowledge. That's a good one. Yes, that's a good one. Excuse me. Oh, wait, that was the end of the chapter, wasn't it? Yeah, that was the end of the chapter. Typhus in the room. Oh, that was the end of the chapter, right? Did I finish the chapter? I did. Button time. Holy shnikes. Sorry. We was talking. Yeah. I didn't do a button yet, though, did I? I did not do a button. Did I do a button? Did I do a button? Yes or no?
I think you did.
Did I do the button?
I think you spun. Maybe you spun the wheel and then you sat down.
I don't think I did. I didn't do a button. I didn't do a button. Oh, you're out, Jessica Night all. Thanks for stopping by. All right.
So you stood up.
I think I did, but I didn't. I don't think I finished it. I think because we started yapping. Yeah.
Because you're a yapper.
I'm a yapper and a crapper. I'm a yapping crapper. All right, what do we got? Ooh, poison daughter. But I don't want to. Okay. P, pick a button. P, pick a button.
Yeah.
All right, we got 2 more chapters to go. They're pretty small ones, not too shabby. We look like we're still doing pretty good on time. And trust me, everyone, if y'all got to bounce out, I completely understand. This is not our normal night either, but, we just having some fun with the ACOTAR, so we gonna be here. Anyway, let's get into it. Chapter 9. The following morning, as Alice and the other servant women prepared my bath, I contemplated my plan. Telman had mentioned that he and Lucian had various duties, and aside from running into him in the house yesterday, I'd seen neither of them around. So locating Lucian alone would be the first order of business. A casual question tossed in Alice's direction had her revealing that she believed Lucian was on border patrol today, and would be at the stables preparing to leave. I was halfway through the Guardians, hurrying toward the outcropping of the buildings I spied the day before when Tamlin had said behind me, "No tripwires today." I froze mid-step and looked over my shoulder. He was standing a few feet away. "What's up, Mr. Something?" We're just...
Oh, Pink, you're talking about how I wish Moore had more of a description of her power. Because, it's like, oh, the truth. Is that not enough for you?
Yeah, it's just truth, yeah.
Just honesty? We're all just sitting around the circle and having an intervention and truth trees?
I think she can change people's perception of the truth, but it didn't work on Ayers. Kind of like Nesta didn't, the glam didn't work on Nesta, something kind of like that.
So she's implanting lies and misconceptions into people's mind, and her power is called the truth?
Yep. No, that's what she tells people it is. Like Inception, she puts plants and thoughts in, and I believe Azrael.
They have a name for it.
That's just, I get it. I understand that. 100%. But I also think Az has been not spooning over for 50 years. He's been following, however many years, he's been following her because he doesn't trust. Okay, anyway, you're getting off topic. Jesus, stop. You do this to me all the time. I love you for it. High five. Where was I? No tripwires today?
Page that.
Page that.
Page that.
I froze mid-step and looked over my shoulder. He was standing a few feet away. How had he crept on me so silently on the gravel? Very stealth, no doubt. I willed calm into my veins, my head, as he said politely as I could, "You said I was safe here, so I listened." His eyes narrowed slightly, but he was put on to what I suppose was his attempt at a pleasant smile. "My morning work was postponed," he said. Indeed, his usual tunic was off, the ballot gone, and the sleeves of his white shirt had been rolled up to the elbows to reveal the tanned forearms corded with muscle. "If you want to ride across the grounds, if you're interested in your new residence, I can take you." Excuse me. Again, the effort to be accommodating, even when every word seemed to pain him. Maybe he could come eventually be swayed by illusion. Until then, how much could I get away with? And if he was going into such lengths to make people swear to not harm me, to shield me from the treaty, I smiled blandly as I said, "I prefer to spend the day alone, I think. But thank you for the offer." He tensed. "What about—" "No, thank you," I interrupted, marveling at a bit of my own audacity. But I had to catch Lucian alone. Had to feel him out. He might already be gone. What's going on? We all laughing at.
I made a whole video on that, Emily. I should see it still gets comments on Instagram like crazy.
On what?
The Elaine being an anagram for Aelin. Remember that picture?
Oh, yeah,
One
yeah.
was a baddie, one was a bum.
Elaine being, yeah.
I was saying that they're opposites of each other.
Yeah.
People are still yapping on that one. It's
Really?
hilarious. Oh,
That was crazy. Yeah, we definitely got to get you a mic because you barely, if you watch the little
I'm
line.
sorry.
Unfortunately, that's how you have to talk. Yes. While you're there. Until we get you your mic. I tell you this all the time. It's not a game of I win.
You yearn for my voice?
More than you know. Where was I? I interrupted, marveling at a bit of my own audacity. Tamlin clenched his into a fist, as if again fighting the claws that itching to burst out. But he didn't reprimand me, didn't do anything other than prowl back into the house without another word. Soon enough, if I was lucky, Tamlin would be my problem anymore. I hurried for the stables, tucking away the information. Maybe one of the days, if I was ever released, there was an ocean in the years between us. I would think back and wonder if why bother. I tried not to look too eager, too out of breath when I finally reached the pretty painted stables. It didn't surprise me that the stable boys all wore horse masks. For them, I felt the shed of pity at what the blight had done, the ridiculous mask they now had to wear until someone could figure out how to undo the magic binding them to their faces. But none of the stable hands even looked at me, either because it wasn't in them, or because they too resented me for the death of Andreas. Excuse me. I don't blame them. Any attempt in casualness took to stumble when I finally found Lucian, astride a black gelding, grinning down at me with his 2 white teeth. "Morning, Feyre." I tried to hide the sniffling in my shoulder, tried to smile a bit, going for a ride or merely reconsidering Tam's offer to live with us. I tried to recall the words I'd come with earlier, the words to win him, but he laughed, and not pleasantly. Come on now. I'm on patrol of the Southern Woods today, and I'm curious about the abilities you used to bring down my friend, whether accidental or not. It's been a while since I encountered a human, let alone a fey killer. Indulge me in a hunt? Perfect. At least this part had gone well, even if it sounded as lovely as facing a bear in its den. So I stepped aside as the stable boy passed. He moved with a fluid smoothness, like all of them here, and didn't look at me either. No indication that of what he thought of having a fey killer in the stables. But my kind hunting couldn't be done on horseback. Mine consisted of carefully stalking a well-laid trap and snares. I didn't know how to chase atop a horse. Lucian accepted a quiver of arrows from the returning stable boy with a nod of thanks. Lucian smiled in a way that didn't meet the metal eye, or the russet one. No ash arrow today, unfortunately. I clenched my jaw to keep a retort from slipping in my tongue. If he was forbidden from hurting me, I couldn't fathom why he would invite me along, save to mock me, or whatever he could. Perhaps he was truly bored. Better for me. So I shrugged, looking as bored as I could. Well, I suppose I'm already dressed for a hunt. Perfect, Lucian said, his metal eye gleaming in the sunlight slanting through the open stable doors. I prayed Tamlin wouldn't come prowling through them. Prayed he wouldn't decide to go for a ride on his own and catch us. Let's go then, I said, and Lucian motioned for them to prepare a horse. I leaned against the wooden wall and waited, keeping an eye on the doorway for signs of Tamlin's, and offered my own blind replies as Lucian remarked about the weather. Mercifully, I stood astride as a white mare riding with Lucian through the spring-shrouded woods beyond the gardens. I kept a healthy distance from the frost-ferried mask on the broad path, hoping that his eye of his couldn't see through the back of his head. The thought didn't sit well, and I shoved it away, along with a part of me that marveled at the way the sun illuminated the leaves. The clusters of crocuses that glue with a flash of vibrant purple against the browns and greens. Those were the things that weren't necessarily to my plans, unless details that only blocked out everything else. The shape and the slope of the path, what trees were good for climbing, sounds of nearby water sources. Those things could help me survive if I needed to. But like the rest of the grounds, the forest was utterly empty. Good night, pals! Good night! Good night! Those things could help me survive if I needed, but like the rest of the grounds, the forest was utterly empty. No signs of fairies, no or any other high fae wandering around. Just, well, you certainly have a quiet part of hunting down, Lucian said, falling back to ride beside me. Good. Let him come to me. Or rather than me seeming too eager, too friendly. I adjusted the weight of the quiver strap across my chest, then ran my finger along the smooth cover of the Yao bow in my lap. The bow was larger than the one I used at home, the arrows heavier and thicker. I would probably miss whatever target I found until I adjusted to the weight and balance of the bow. 5 years ago, I had taken my very last of my father's coppers from our former fortune to purchase my bow and arrows, since I allotted some of every month for arrows and replacement strings. Well, Lucian pressed. No good game enough for you to slaughter. We've passed plenty of squirrels and birds. The canopy cast above shadows of his fox mask. Light and dark, gleaming in metal. You seem to have enough food on your table. You don't need to add to it, especially when there's always plenty left over. I doubted squirrel would be good enough for their table. Lucian snorted, but didn't say anything else as we passed beneath the flowering lilac, its purple cones dripping low enough to gaze my cheek like cool, velvety fingers. The sweet, crisp scent lingered in my nose even as we rode off. Not useful, I told myself. Although, the thick brush beyond it would be a good hiding spot. If I need one. You said you were an emissary for Tamlin, I ventured. Do emissaries usually patrol the grounds? A casual, disinterested question. Lucian clicked his tongue. I'm Tamlin's emissary for formal uses, but this was Andreas' shift. Someone needed to fill in. It's an honor to do it. I swallowed hard. Andreas had a place here, and friends here. He hadn't just been some nameless, faceless fairy. No doubt he was more missed than I was. I'm sorry, I said, and I meant it. I didn't know what he meant to y'all. Lucian shrugged. Tamlin said as much, which is why he probably brought you here. Or maybe you look so pathetic in those rags that he took pity on you. I wouldn't have joined you if I'd known you would use this ride as an excuse to insult me. Alice had mentioned that Lucian could use someone to snap back at him. Easily enough, Lucian smirked. Apologies, Feyre. I might have called him a liar for that apology had I known he couldn't lie. Which made the apology sincere. Sincere, yes, but God bless him, Miggy Ziggy. All right, I couldn't sort it out. So, he said, when you're going to start trying to persuade me to beseech Tamlin to find a way to free you from the treaty's rules. What did you say? That's why you agreed to come here, isn't it? And why you wound up in the stables exactly I was leaving? He shot me a sideways glance with that russet eye of his. Honestly, I'm impressed and flattered you'd think that kind of sway with Tamlin. I wouldn't reveal my hand, not yet. What are you talking about? He cocked his head and answered enough. He chuckled and said, before you waste one more of your precious human breaths, let me explain two things to you. One, if I had my way, you'd be gone, so it wouldn't take much convincing on your part. Two, I can't have my way because there is no alternative to what the treaty demands. There's no extra loophole, but there has to be something. I admire your balls, Feyre. I really do. Or maybe it's stupidity. But since Tam won't gut you, well, I was going to gut her a little bit later, but just not that kind of way. Which was my first choice. You're stuck here. Unless you want to rough it out in Prythian, which I'd advise against. No. I just stay here forever until I die? Maybe there was some other way, or someone else who could find a way. I mastered my uneven breathing, shoving away the panicking, beating thoughts. A valiant effort, Lucien said with a smirk. I didn't bother hiding a glare in Cutter's direction. We rode in silence, and aside from a few birds and squirrels, I saw nothing, heard nothing unusual. After a few minutes, I quieted my riotous thoughts enough to say, where's the rest of Tamlin's courts? They're invisible. They're all fled this blight on magic. How'd you know about the court? He asked so quickly that I realized he thought I meant someone else. I kept my face blank. Do estates have emissaries? And servants chatter. Isn't that why you made them wear bird masks to the party? Lucian scowled at the Skiritar. We chose what to wear that night to honor Tamlin's shape-shifting gifts. The servants too. But now, if we had a choice, we'd peel them off with our bare hands, he said, tugging on his own. It didn't move. What happened to the magic to make it act that way? Lucian let out a harsh laugh. Someone was sent from shitholes of hell. Something was sent from the shitholes of hell, he said, and glancing around and swore. I should have said that if word got back to here. I shouldn't have said that if word got back to her. Oh, Lucian slipped there. Lucian slipped there. I didn't catch that the first time. Oh, there's a slip. I shouldn't have said that if word got back to her. Who? The color had leached from his sun-crested skin, dragged a hand through. Never mind. The less you know, the better. Tam might not find you troublesome to tell you the blight, but I wouldn't put it past a human to sell information to the highest bidder. It blistered, but the few bits of information he released lay before me in glittering jewels. Her who scared Lucian enough to make him worry, to make him afraid someone might be listening, spying, monitoring on his behavior. Even out here, I studied the shadows between the trees, but found nothing. Prythian was ruled by 7 high lords. Perhaps this she was who was governing this territory. If not a high lord, then a high lady. They don't allow high ladies. Sorry, something was in my throat. If that was even possible. How old are you? I asked, hoping you'd have to keep divulging some more useful information. It was better than knowing nothing. Old, he said. He scanned the bush, and then I felt the darting eyes were looking for game. His shoulders were too tense. What sort of powers do you have? Can you shapeshift like Tamlin? He sighed, looking skyward before he studied me warily, that metal eye narrow with unraveling focus. Trying to figure out my weaknesses so you can... I gloated at him. Fine. No, I can't shapeshift. Only Tam can. But your friend, he appeared as a wolf. Unless that was his... No. Andreas was high fae too. Lion-ass bitch! Tamlin can shift us. Andreas was... Tamlin can shift us into other shapes if need be. He saves it for his sentries only. When Andreas went across the wall, Tamlin changed into a wolf so he wouldn't be spotted as a fairy, though his size was probably indication enough. Okay, so he was just a high fae, not a high lord. Okay. All right. Excuse me. That's what I thought. A shoulder went down my spine, violent enough that I didn't acknowledge the red-hot glare Lucian lobbed my way. I didn't have the nerve to ask Tamlin could change me into another shape. Anyway, Lucian went on, the high fae don't have specific powers the way lesser fairies do. I don't have a natural-born infinity, if that's what you're asking. I don't clean everything in sight or lure mortals to have watery deaths or grant you answers to whatever questions you may have if you trap me. We just exist to rule. I turned in the other direction so he couldn't see as I rolled my eyes. I suppose if one of you were, I'd be one of the fairies, not high fairies, a lesser fairy, like Alice, waiting on you hand and foot. He didn't reply, which amounted to a yes. With that arrogant, no wonder Lucian found my present as a replacement. For his friend to abhor and in silence would be probably loathe me forever. Since he'd ended my scheming before it had ever begun, I asked, how do you get that scar? I didn't keep my mouth shut when I should have, and was punished for it. Did Tamlin do that to you? Cauldron, no. He wasn't there. But he got me this replacement afterwards. More answers that weren't answers. So there are fairies who will actually answer my questions if you trap them. Maybe they'd know how to free me from the treaty. Sure, he said tightly. The surreal. But they're old and wicked. Don't you talk about my baby girl like that, you mother... Ah, Lucian, I tell you what, if I didn't already like you, we'd be fighting, my friend. And not worth the danger of going out to find them. And if you're stupid enough to go looking so intrigued, I'm going to become rather suspicious and tell Tam to put you under house arrest. Though I suppose you would deserve it if you were indeed stupid enough to seek one out. They had to lurk nearby then, if this was a concern. Lucian whipped his head to the right, listening with the eye whirling softly. The hair on my neck stood up, and my bow drawn in a heartbeat, pointing in the direction of Lucian. Put down your bow, he whispered, his voice low. Put down your damn bow, human. Look straight ahead. I did as he said. The hair on my arms were rising as something rustled in the bushes. Don't react, Lucian said, forcing a gaze ahead to the metal eye, going still and silent. No matter what you feel or see, don't react. Just look. Just stare ahead. I stared trembling, gripping with the reins of the sweaty lands. I might have wondered if this was some kind of horrible joke, but Lucian's face had gone very, very pale. Our horses' ears flattened against their heads, and they continued walking, as if they understood Lucian's commands, and then felt it. Bum, bum, bum. All right, that's the end of chapter 9. We got one more to go for tonight. Let's get the spin in. All right, while we're doing the spin, before we play the buttons, is there anything we want to add? Anything we need to add to the notes? Anything we need to discuss in that chapter? Oh, let's see if I do a quick glance. Miss Bourne is at 18. DCC is at 17. Poison Daughter is at 15. Poet Empress is at 18. The hat when the moon hatched is at 14. Book of Azrael is at 18. Red Rising is at 14. Serpents of the Winged Knights is at 15. Those are your leaders. Those are the leaders. Those are the excuse me. Those are the current leaders. Okay. Yeah, it's at 18, so sorry. But it's winning for singles. The Poet Empress is winning for singles with... Yeah, it's ahead by 3. So, it's still doing good. All right. DCC, Dungeon Crawler Carl. Dungeon Crawler Carl. All right, we got one more chapter to go tonight, folks. What do we got? I don't think it's a long one either. Oh, no, it's like a 3-pager. We're going to be done here earlier than we were last night, I believe. Okay, let's go. Chapter 10, finish out tonight. Here we go. My blood froze as the creeping, leeching cold lurched by. I couldn't see anything, just the vague shimmering in the corner of my vision. While my horse stiffened beneath me, I willed my face into blankness. Even the balmy spring woods seemed to recoil, to wither and freeze. The cold thing whispered past, circling. I could see nothing, but I could feel it. In the back of my mind, an ancient, hollowed voice whispered, I will grind your bones in my claws. I will drink your marrow. I will feast on your flesh. I am what you fear. I am what you dread. Look at me! Look at me! I tried to swallow, but my throat had closed up. I kept my eyes on the trees, on the canopy, on anything but the cold mass circling against us. Again and again. Look at me! I wanted to look. I needed to see what it was. Look at me! I stared at the coarse trunk of a distant elm, thinking of pleasant things, like hot bread and full bellies. I will fill my belly with you. I will devour you. Look at me. A starry, unclouded night sky, peaceful and glittering and endless. Summer sunrise, a refreshing bath in the forest pool. Meetings with Isaac, losing myself for an hour or two in his body. And our shared breaths. It was all around us, so cold that my teeth chattered. Look at me. I stared and stared at the ever-nearing tree trunk, not daring to blink. My eyes stained, filling with tears. I let them fall out, refusing to acknowledge the thing that lurked around us. Look at me. I just thought that I would give in. And when my eyes hurt so much from not looking, the cold disappeared into the brush, leaving a trail still recoiling plants behind it. Only after Lucian exhaled and our horses shook their heads did I dare sag in my seat. Even the crocuses seemed to straighten again. What was that? I asked, brushing tears from my face. Lucian's face still pale. You don't want to know. Please, what was that? Surreal, you mentioned? Don't you put... No! Oh, I get it. You don't know. I'm sorry. She doesn't know. Lucian's russet eye was dark as he answered. No, it was a creature that should not be in these lands. We call it the bog. You cannot hunt it, and you cannot kill it, even with your beloved ash arrows. Why can't I look at it? Because when you look at it, you acknowledge it. That's when it becomes real. That's when it can kill you. A shiver spider walked down my spine. This was in Prynthian I'd expected. This was the Prynthian I'd expected. The creatures that made humans speak of them in hushed tones even now. The reason I hadn't hesitated for even a heartbeat, I'd considered the possibilities of that wolf being a fairy. I heard its voice in my head. It told me to look. Lucian rolled his shoulders. Well, thank the cauldron you didn't. Cleaning up that mess would have ruined the rest of my day. He gave me a wan smile. I didn't return it. I still hear the bog's voice whispering between the leaves, calling to me. After an hour of meandering through the trees, speaking hardly to each other, I stopped trembling enough to turn around. So you're old, I said. And you carry around a sword and go on border patrol. Did you fight in the war? Fine. Perhaps I hadn't quite let it go out of my Fine. Perhaps I hadn't quite let go of my curiosity about his eye. He winced. Shit, Feyre, I'm not that old. Are you a warrior, though? Would you be able to kill me if it ever came to that? Lucian huffed. Not as good as Tamlin, but I know how to handle my weapons. Oh, yeah, I got a few voices that want to know how do you handle that weapon. I'll tell you what. Lucian huffed and laughed. Oh, handle my weapons, but he patted the hilt of his sword. Would you like me to teach you how to wield the blade, or do you already know how? Oh, mighty mortal huntress. If you took down Andreas, you probably didn't need to learn anything. Only where to aim, right? He tapped his chest. I know how to use a sword. I don't know how to use a sword. I only know to hunt. Same thing, isn't it? For me, it's different. Lucian fell silent, considering. I suppose you humans are such hateful cowards that you would have wet yourself, curled up, and waited to die if you had known beyond a doubt that Andreas truly was. Insufferable, Lucian sighed as he looked at me. Do you ever stop being serious and dull? Do you ever stop being such a prick? I snapped back. Dead. Really. Truly. I should have been dead for that. But Lucian grinned at me. Much better. Alice, it seemed, may have been wrong. Whatever tentative truce we built that afternoon vanished to dinner. Tamlin was lounging in his usual seat, a long claw out in the circling goblet. Then it paused at the lip as soon as I entered. Lucian on my heels, his green eyes pinned to the spot. Right. I brushed him off that morning, claiming I wanted to be alone. Tamlin slowly looked at Lucian, whose face turned grave. We went on a hunt, Lucian said. I heard, Tamlin said roughly, glancing between us as we took seats. And did you have fun? Yes, Tam, we did. Slowly his claws sank down between his flesh. Lucian didn't answer, leaving it alone. Coward. I cleared my throat. Sort of, I said. Excuse me. Did you catch anything? Every word was clipping out. No. Lucian gave me a pointed cough, as if urging me to say more. But I had nothing to say. Tamlin stared at me for a long moment. Excuse me. Then dug into his food. Not all that interesting to take me in, either. Talking to me, either. And then Lucian said quietly, Tam? Tamlin looked up. More animal than Faye in those green eyes. A demand for whatever it was Lucian had to say. Lucian's throat bobbed. The bog was in the forest today. The fork in Tamlin's hand folded itself, and with a lethal calm. You ran into it? Lucian nodded. It moved past, but came close. It must have snuck through the border. Metal groaned as Tamlin's claws punched out, obliterating the fork. He rose to his feet with powerful, brutal movements. I tried to not tremble at the contained fury at how his canines seemed to lengthen, as he said, Where in the forest? Lucian told me. Tamlin threw a glance in my direction before stalking out of the room and shutting the door behind him with unnerving gentleness. Thank you, P. Lucian loosened a breath, pushing away his half-eaten food and rubbing his templets. Where's he going? I asked, staring at the door. To hunt the bog. You said it couldn't be killed, that you can't face it. Tam can. My breath caught a bit, a gruff. A high fae half-heartedly flattering me was capable of killing a thing like the bog? And yet he served me himself the first night, offered me a life rather than death. I'd known he was lethal, that he was a warrior of sorts, but thank you. So he went to hunt the bog, where we were earlier today? Lucian shrugged. If he's going to pick up the trail, it wouldn't be there. I had no idea how anyone could face the immortal horror, but it wasn't my problem. And just because Lucian wasn't going to eat anymore didn't mean I wouldn't. Lucian, lost in thought, didn't even notice the feast I downed. I returned to my room and awakened with nothing else to do. Began monitoring the garden beyond for any signs of Tamlin to return. He didn't come back. I sharpened the knife hidden away on a bit of stone I'd taken from the garden. An hour passed, and still Tamlin didn't return. Thank you for the lightning bolts, Bobby! The moon showed his face, casting the garden below in silver and a shadow. Ridiculous, utterly ridiculous, to watch for his return, to see if he could indeed survive against the bog. I turned from the window, about to drag myself into bed, but then something moved down in the garden. I lunged for the curtains beside the window, not wanting to be caught waiting for him, and peering out. Not Tamlin, but something lurked by the hedges, facing the house, looking toward me. A male hunched in, the breath out. The breath went out of me as the fairy hobbled closer, just 2 steps, into the light leaking out of the house. Not a fairy, but a man. My father. Yeah, it's your dad, Feyre. Your daddy's here to save you. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Woo, she going through it, folks. She going through it. She going through it. All right, this is the last wheel spin of the night. That was the last chapter of the night. Oh, Poison Daughter gets another vote. All right, folks, that is gonna be it for us tonight. I am hopefully y'all had a good time tonight. Excuse me. All right, once again, folks, thank you for coming out. Please join me again tomorrow on our regularly scheduled programming time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, as we continue A Court of Thorns and Roses. We'll be on chapters 11 to 15 or so. Okay. Also, I believe Wednesday. Yes. Okay, tomorrow's Wednesday. So yes, that'll be our regularly scheduled time. And please know that I am working a new idea and a new thought. We got another Words with Wise coming soon. And we have a new show coming in soon. And we might even have an afternoon coming show for maybe some people to sit there and watch us here in the afternoon. But anyway, folks, stay tuned. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with me and reading these stories and having a good time. We will see you in the next one. Have a great night, folks. Thank you again.